talkSPORT Sports Update with NordVPN, our fastest, most advanced VPN for digital privacy and security.
Good afternoon, 1 o'clock. Here are your sports headlines. I'm Will Hobbs, and he played a key role in the business end of last season, but following the Bruno Guimaraes deal, we understand Arsenal are offering Miles Lewis-Skelly to other clubs. Peterborough owner and Liverpool fan Dara McAntony says he'd love Lewis-Skelly at Anfield, but is saddened by the situation.
I don't want to see the best clubs losing their young talent. You know, I've got a Tier 2 academy. Nothing fills me more pride than seeing 3-4 of my teenagers playing in our team and our squad. So when I see that at clubs, it's not right. It's not right for me.
Meanwhile, Forest have signed centre-back Ousmane Diomande from Sporting Lisbon. Shea Charles has completed a £30 million move to Fulham from Southampton. And Calvin Phillips has gone back on loan at Sheffield United. Atletico Madrid, meanwhile, have become the new favourites to sign Christian Romero from Tottenham. Here's talkSPORT senior football correspondent Ben Jacobs.
They're expected to place a bid potentially as early as today, and they know the number because Napoli have an agreement in principle with Spurs for €40 million, but they don't have personal terms with Romero because he wants Atletico Madrid, and as he said a year ago, he'd like to go and play in La Liga.
And the chair of Sussex Cricket Club, Ed Warner, has told talkSPORT while his club are getting money via the ECB from the 100, the tournament is actually costing the county money in what should be the height of the season.
We've got the Metro One Day Cup, but it's not quite the same as the T20 Blast, which has been pushed to earlier in the season. So right now, on many days, our ground is empty, unused, and we like to have more cricket there at the height of summer, particularly when the summer's as good as this one.
And Ian Wright and Gillette have teamed up with a campaign and petition to scrap players being given automatic yellow cards for taking their shirt off after scoring. If the petition reaches 100,000 signatures, Gillette say they'll write an open letter to IFAB, formally calling for the rule to be axed.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister says he doesn't want to see a single prisoner released early, and temperatures are forecast to reach 38 degrees on Thursday. Sinead has more at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With over 400 EV-ready centres across the UK, we're top of the league for electric car owners. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
A dry and sunny day for most with light winds, cloudier in northwest Scotland with some outbreaks of light rain.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT, where this afternoon, Andy, interesting there, Will, telling us about Wrighty and Gillette getting together to try and get IFAB to change their mind. All I would say to Gillette, if they get to 100,000 signatures, is do not send your head shavers to IFAB, because the men in charge are David Ellery, Pierluigi Collina, and they're probably think you're taking the mickey, wouldn't they?
Probably. Coming up over the next 3 hours, former Wolves and West Ham winger Matt Jarvis joins us in the studio to preview the start of the EFL season. Mo Salah's biographer Melissa Reddy Melissa Reddy will also be popping in.
Gets very emotional when he says the words Melissa Reddy.
And former England all-rounder Chris Wokes on the big Test shake-up.
We'll also get reaction to Matthias Jaisler's first press conference as Newcastle manager. Is it Jaisler? Is it Jaisler? Is it Jaisler? It's Jaisler. And 3 of Britain's strongest men are here to tell us about their new YouTube YouTube show set in a sleepy retirement village. We're on fire today, aren't we?
Honestly, that is
Here we go, Andy. Take us home.
There's all this, plus how a former NBA scout and Dallas Cowboys cheerleader became an ambassador for the National League's North Rap. Oh.
It's getting worse.
It is.
Getting
and
worse.
Lewis Skelly, that's not happening to Chelsea. Wharton to Madrid, that could be. And today's other big transfer stories.
Adam Wharton to Madrid, that's a good story, isn't it?
I'd rather it was Fernandes to Madrid and Adam Wharton to Chelsea. But
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
Yes.
It is 5 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy. One of the first shows we ever did, actually the first show we ever did, was on an internet-only station for the old, as it was, Talk Radio then, back before talkSPORT was ever born.
Yeah.
And I said to Andy, I said, I'll write a little intro for us because it'll just get you into the show. Just get, and then you can just, rather than going on cold. He said, no, we don't need to do that. So I said, well, I'll do it. So I didn't do it. And it was a complete bin fire. So for the last 20 odd years, I've been writing these little 4-line things, and it's still a bin fire. So what's the answer? I think we should knock it on the head.
Well, the answer
We're
is
not getting any better.
read it before and read it slower.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
That would be the
So
answer.
look, if you know the solution, why don't you deal with it?
Well, I'm good at advising.
Okay. One of life's producers.
I am.
Anyway, Andy, I have a query for the talkSPORT listener.
okay.
We haven't got a guest chatting about this today, but I would be interested to hear from the listeners. We both watched the European Championship Athletics last night. Very
loved
much
it.
enjoyed it.
Haven't done that for ages.
It was a good night. I mean, you had the women's 100, the semis and the final. You had the women's hurdles, didn't you?
Yeah, the 4x1.
Yeah, you also had, that's right, you had the mixed relay.
The
You
4x4 it was.
Yeah, you had Inga Britson running.
Oh, what a
fantastic.
race that was.
So
Brilliant.
it was a great night's athletics, and it was the first time the European Championships come to this country, and it didn't look like a massively great turnout in the Alexander Stadium in Birmingham. And so I took to social media, as you do, to try and get the bottom of why, and I was getting quite a lot of conflicting information. So if you wanted to go, or you did go, or you can give us a little bit of background to this, we'd love to hear from you, because I've heard it's very expensive. The tickets were overpriced, which meant
That's what I'd written down. Were the tickets too expensive?
Well, there were some people saying it's 150 quid to get on the home straight.
Stan Collymore wanted to go, and he said the price.
Oh, Stan said the same thing.
He did, yeah, absolutely. Bonkers.
So, which seems counterproductive, because, if European Championship organisers are looking at that, they're thinking, oh, yeah, great. I mean, you don't want to... And also from the athlete's point of view, when Amy Hunt won the 100 metres, she's sort of doing a lap of honour to a practically empty stadium, which she deserved more than that.
Oh, tremendous, the way she came through.
So, and let us know if you did go. I mean, I also heard that the M6 closed last night, and you think, well, why would you do that? You're trying to get people in and out of a city where there's a big athletics event, and then you shut the motorway when it's all over. Anyway, all the fallout from that. If you've gone, wanted to go, why you didn't go, just interested to know, because the athletics was great, but the crowd wasn't stunning. I understand it sold out at the end of the week, but why would you want to go and see all that stuff last night? It was brilliant.
It was brilliant.
talksport.com, text to 81089, tweet to TSH and J, or 03717 223344. It could be that the prices are set by the athletics organisers.
Because normally athletics is well followed here in this country.
Yeah.
I was watching. I love the field events, and I was looking at the men's shot put, and then I was thinking about Jeff Capes.
Yeah.
So I looked up Jeff Capes and his record. Do you know Jeff would have come second last night?
With really?
He still holds the record.
Wow.
22 metres, and it's in just under 22 metres, I think. And when you look at him do it, it's completely different technique. Now they spin around the circle.
Yeah, not all of them. I noticed last night some of the women's, 2 Portuguese women kind of do it in the old school.
The old style.
Yeah,
Jeff's
yeah.
old style was tremendous.
Yeah.
So
But no, you're right. They do. They still like hammer throwers. They spin as they go into it, don't they?
Whenever I see the relays, though, I do think about my school sports day. I was thinking about Alan Chubb, my old schoolmate. I wonder if he gets PTSD when he watches the changeovers in the relay. He was the boy that went...
Tell us what happened, Andy. For those that have not had this story before, it never gets old. Andy Jacobs, how old were you? Now, you wonder, if you've wondered, what's wrong with Andy Jacobs? Why is he so angry?
15,
why is he so
15,
damaged?
16, something like that.
This is the reason why he's so damaged. Tell us what happened, Andy.
Well, it was a school sports day. It was the sort of house relay.
He's 15, it's like puberty. He's very impressionable, and he cares what people think about him. So think about this. Here we go.
So I'm running the third leg.
Yeah.
And Alan's running the second leg. And as he approaches me with the baton,
Yeah.
I'm still taking my tracksuit trousers off.
You put the same preparation in that you do to reading the intro before you go on air.
I just wasn't ready. I think I got into trouble. I was trying to remember whether
So what did you do? Did you try?
I think I completed the race. I think I either ran along
With your trousers round your ankles?
Yeah, and I think eventually they came off.
And Brian Ricks came to your school afterwards and gave you an award, didn't he?
I remember getting into trouble for it, though. But
Why did you not get them off earlier?
I don't know. I wasn't ready. I didn't think the race had started.
It's great, isn't it?
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Oh, God.
I love it.
Is there a little child... I mean, look, within reason, let's keep it light, folks. But is there a little school childhood memory that comes back to you that gives you... that you still go red or gives you a bit of a cold sweat? That would be Andy's.
Wouldn't be.
I was playing in the school football team once, and one of the lads... There's no other way of putting it. He said to the sir, "Sir, I've got an upset stomach. I don't think I should play." And he said, "You're playing. So
the Jose school.
It was a bit. Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be just. So anyway, the inevitable happens, as Gary Lineker will testify. If you've got an upset stomach, you play football. These things can happen. And he soiled himself on the pitch.
Yeah.
So this is about 13, 14.
Very, very.
That's quite damaging.
Very unfortunate. Yeah.
So I was led from the pitch in tears.
Oh.
I saw him about 25 years later.
Yeah.
Out and about, and we just got chatting about school. He was with his wife and his baby, and I talked about playing in the football team. I just saw this fear in his eyes.
No.
I was going to bring it up.
Now you're talking about it on national radio.
Well, he knows who he is, but
Well,
no one else.
else does.
I would not name him.
No.
But anyway,
I will if you tell me.
No. So anyway, if there's still one of those, Andy's or that lad who I play with, we've all got one, really. We try hard enough. TalkSport.com, text 81089 to it. Maybe telling us today will be cathartic. TalkSport.com, text 81089, tweet to TSH&J, 03717 223344.
To all your schools and local athletics, my local school, I walk past there every day.
Yeah.
And they had a long jump pit.
Yeah.
And it was just an ordinary long jump. It was perfectly serviceable for what they did, which was basically line the children up and they all just run into the pit, hardly jumping. And you think, all right, that's not particularly going to produce any great long jump champions for Britain. Anyway, they've just put in what I describe as an Olympic-style long jump. They got rid of that one and put this fantastic runway and proper tartan track. And it must have cost a fortune. Why? I haven't seen one person use it. The other one was perfectly right. No, it must be somebody in the school loves long jump. There must be. I don't know.
Mr. Rutherford, the headmaster?
It could be.
It could be.
And meanwhile, there's 2 cricket nets that were originally donated by Sport England. They're just completely gone to rack and ruin.
People using them as climbing frames.
I don't get it.
Mac has been in touch. He said he was reading some journos tweeting about the athletics earlier on. Apparently, Category A and B tickets very expensive, but there are some cheaper ones. However, someone posted the food prices in the stadium, and blimey. Let's have a look at what they are.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw that as well. It's quite...
Well, if you fancied last night a barbecue pork roll, it would have cost you £18.50.
Oh, come on.
If you wanted the bratwurst dog, it would have been 15 quid. Loaded fries, £12. Bottle of water, £3.95. Cup of tea, £3. Okay, it's getting a bit cheap. But still, it didn't sound like a cheap night out.
No.
So you let us know. TalkSport.com, text 81089.
And also, it's a family thing. So if you go, it's times 4, isn't it?
Exactly.
Crazy.
Anyway, we're just around the corner from the start of the EFL. We are the home of the EFL on TalkSport. So we'll be celebrating next with a man that went up with the team, went down with the team, knows what it's all about. It is Matt Jarvis, formerly of Wolves and West Ham, popping in to see us. We'll also feature a little cameo from Dean Ashton on film, and we'll bring you that a little bit later on. We'll also joined by, polymath's the only word for it. One of our guests this afternoon, Bonnie Jill Laughlin. She was a NBA scout. She's been an actress who was in Baywatch, model. She was a cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys. She's done lots of different telly. And 5
NBA rings for scouting.
Incredible story. And she is now, for reasons we'll discover when she comes in, an ambassador for the National League North's very own Radcliffe FC. We'll find out why. Bonnie Jill Laughlin will be here in the studio. We're going to chat to Melissa Reddy, who's written a fine biography of Mo Salah as well. So it's a busy show as always. Looking forward to hearing from you. talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TS8NJ 03717223344. Matt Jarvis with us in the studio in a few moments' time. We're here with our very good friends at Tool Station. Next stop, or first stop indeed, Tool Station.
So far this season, you've got Jeremy Jacquet from Rennes.
Yep.
And then you've got Victor Munoz from Osasuna.
Yep.
Obviously, Araujo's on his way, Barcelona captain, high-profile signing.
Yep.
But it just feels to me that maybe because of this transition post-Klopp and the failed project last season under Arne Slot, not the season before, maybe Liverpool are in flux in terms of who they are right now, in terms of identity and their playing identity.
No, I hear what you're saying. And look, it's the media's job to point these things out and come up with some kind of thesis on why Liverpool haven't won a title for 10 months. And I smile while I say that. But here's the reality. They're still the most successful club in England.
Yeah.
They're a world-known club. Everyone knows them. If they want someone and they can come up with the money, they can attract players. Somebody going to Real Madrid over Liverpool, I'm not losing sleep about. A French person going to Paris Saint-Germain because he's basically French and he lives near Paris. Again, that's not a club issue with Liverpool. We will make signings in this window. Areola will instill an identity. It'll be an identity that will be exciting for the fans to watch. I saw a lot of Bournemouth games last year. Any fans who haven't, go watch them.
Yeah.
They're young, they're quick, they're dynamic, they never stop pressing, they never give up. If he instills that at Liverpool, and it'll take a minute, it will be exciting. We might not be up there at the start challenging for a title, and it depends how far Arsenal or Man City get ahead. But don't write Liverpool off like that this season. Yes, we're a few pieces missing. We've got the defensive cover sorted now, apparently. We'd love a central midfielder. We'd love a right winger. We'd like a little bit more strength and depth through the squad. But I still think good things can happen this year. And pre-season games have no reflection on how our season's going to go.
Yep.
Knowing the championship, any magnificent! 20 yards outside the penalty area. Great ball in. Strelec with a header off the inside of the post and in. And it's 3-1 Middlesbrough.
Nunez over the top, through to Anton. He's clear. Anton off the post. Jack Clark is there to tuck away the rebound.
Down the left-hand side, ball into the near post. Comes to Mane! Off the goalkeeper and in. He rips his shirt off and runs away in celebration.
talkSPORT, your home of the EFL, of course. Plenty more EFL commentaries to come.
Yeah, we're home of the EFL, and it's time to look ahead to the EFL season with Compare the Market. We're joined by a man who spent some time in there, some time in the Premier League as well, and actually came up with Wolves, of course. It is their former winger, Matt Jarvis. Hello, Matt. How are you doing?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. West Ham, of course, one of your clubs. I mean, and Wolves, but we'll talk a bit about West Ham because we were just saying off air that they're going to be a great scalp, aren't they, because of that stadium and that sort of nice big day out in London, a few drinks in Stratford in the sunshine, then off to the match. So that it was a bit like Tottenham are going to suffer with had they come. You know, it's a big day out, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's a cup final for every team that's coming. I mean, you can even see that at the weekend at Portsmouth. You know, they brought, I think, 9,200 people come to try and get that atmosphere. But it is, players are going to raise their game because they want to come to West Ham and do well, and that's the pressure that's going to be on West Ham players. And hopefully they're going to be able to hit the ground running, and that fear, I suppose, the fear factor of coming to the London Stadium will be there.
That feeling then of going, because you went down with, you went down with Wolves. You came up with Wolves, you went down with Wolves.
That's
then
right.
That's when you went to West Ham.
That's correct, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that, I mean, picking up, so you didn't have that experience of trying to pick it up the season afterwards because you'd moved on.
Yeah, well, I played the first 2 games in the Championship when I was at Wolves before I went to West Ham. And the first game I think was Ellen Road, and what a place to go for your first game back in the Championship. So it is tough. It's really tough. It's tough for all different scenarios. It's the mindset. We had change of manager as well. We had Sal Solbakken come in. You then got the type of players that are at the club that want to be at the club. You've got the type of players that don't want to be at the club, and you've got new signings that are coming, and it's creating a togetherness. I think is the biggest thing that a manager needs to do when you're in a team that's been relegated.
It's going to be 16 playoff this year, so it means that it's definitely going down to the last day because lots and lots of teams are going to be involved with the championships. Anything like it normally is.
Yep, I think from obviously a fan's point of view, it's great because I think when you get to the last little bit of the season, you're playing teams that haven't really got anything to fight for, so it will go down right to the end. But it does keep it interesting, and as I said, for a player, you want something to be fighting for. So when it gets to that end of the season and you're still in the hunt for the playoffs, then there is still that bit that even if you're guaranteed in there, trying to get that third spot is better than just nipping in at the last. So you don't want to take your foot off the gas, as everyone says.
There are some good sides in that division who will be wanting to build on what they did last year, especially teams like Borough. So there'll be teams that are already in the Championships that will be snapping at Wolves and West Ham's heels, won't they?
They will. They would have had a steady squad as well, and then added to that. So you have got teams. I put Norwich in there as well. They had a great second half of the season.
Yeah, Philippe Clement did a brilliant job.
And they've signed some players, and they've started well in pre-season. So they'll be up there as well. But absolutely, it's a tough league. And when you're building a squad of players, you're then going to have new signs that come in, and you need them they need to be starting players, because I think that helps the change rooms. If it was me in a change room in that environment, I'd be like, we need to sign players, but don't sign a left winger. Yeah, because I want to be playing. But you need to. You sign a player and you go, yeah, he's improved our squad, and you just get a good feeling around the place.
Southampton start with a 4-point disadvantage. I mean, you have to think they probably would have been promoted last year if they hadn't got up to all the shenanigans. How do you think they might go?
I think they'll do well. Obviously, the 4 points won't be great to start with, but once it comes to around Christmas time, it'll sort of even itself out. I think for them, they will be good. I do think the manager's good. Yes, there's all the other question marks, but I do think he's galvanised that squad of players, and what they did last season was really, really impressive to a degree. And they have got a good squad. It's just just seen that they've sold some players, so that they are going to be another team that's going to be wanting to bring in some players that are going to need to go into the starting 11.
Millwall been sort of on the cusp, haven't they?
Yeah.
In recent years, do you think they can build on what they did last year? Because they weren't far off.
They weren't far off. I mean, I'm looking forward to that game at Stadium.
8:30 a.m. kickoff.
I think it's live on terrestrial telly. That game.
I know.
Last week, so that's
but no, they have, and I think they've had that, I suppose, fear factor of a club. But now it's not just a team that people go to fear. Now they have a good squad. They have a good way of playing. Obviously, I played under the manager as well, so I know what he's about, and he's very good, very tactically aware. So they will be in and around it again.
You've got Wrexham, of course. Again, they didn't do too badly, did they? They were pushing.
They were expecting another promotion, weren't they?
Yeah,
but,
they're bottom of the table at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's quite worrying.
It is hard for them. They've had such success, and then they're going into the Championship, which it isn't easy. And they've done it really well. They've had players that at each level they've gone up. But now the Championship is really difficult. But I do expect them to be in and around it in that playoff.
We're going to keep chatting to Matt about the start of the EFL season, but some of you might have seen Dean Ashton's Instagram post yesterday that saw him, Crew fans, and a rather famous meerkat standing in front of a sign saying Crew Alexander. So let's find out more from Dean now.
Hello, Alexander.
Hello, my friend.
We've seen rumours on social media. Crew Alexander? Come on, what have you done?
Well, it's not what I have do, it is what Crew have do for me.
Well, of course, which is?
Well, it's very simple. Their new name is now Crew Alexander for the opening week of the EFL season. Is a much better name, I think.
Okay, so Crew Alexandra, a club that is very special in my heart, just the 61 goals, is now Crew Alexander for the start of the season. But tell us why.
Well, because Compare the Market is now a proud partner of the EFL. And if you're launching a new football partnership, you should probably do something big to announce it, like renaming a football club after the world's most handsome meerkat.
And what I love about this new partnership is it's giving back to the fans all around the 72 clubs. But just tell us a little bit more.
Okay, well, we're not only renaming the football club. Compare the Market is putting the communities in the heart of everything we do. We're giving back to local causes every time a ball hits the back of the net. Surprising fans with plenty of club prizes and bringing extra fun and fare to match days right across the country.
Simples.
Yeah, simples. Hey, that's smiling.
I don't know what happened to his accent at the end there.
Top work there, Dean. He's going to be in Hollyoaks. He's going to be in Hollyoaks if he keeps on like that.
Fine bit of acting by Dean there, really.
Yeah. So there we are. That's why it's going to be Crew Alexander. I'm sure the Crew fans won't mind for a week as they're pumping some money into the EFL. But it's just a bit of fun.
Bit of fun.
But I thought a great performance there. Consider, it's not easy, is it? So
no. Well, I'd have made a right mess.
Oh, you would have been a disaster. So there we go. Anyway, so all the very best to Crew Alexander. We'll be chatting more to Matt Jarvis on the EFL with Compare the Market in a few moments' time.
Hawksbee and Jacobs EFL preview on talkSPORT with Compare the Market, proud partner of the EFL.
Steve gets in touch with the United fans. He says, boys, with Rashford, we've been down this road so many times. We've sang his name, give him over 300 grand a week, backed him and watched him stink the gaff out week after week. Body language is such a huge part of football. It is. I can't sit in the Stretford end again and watch him sort of mope around and sulk on the pitch. He's worked hard for any club who'd take him on loan over his supposed boyhood club. We've been down this road too many times. Shake hands, get him out the door ASAP. Do you understand that sentiment from some Manchester United fans?
Totally. I totally get it. Yes, he's burnt his bridges there. I get all the reasons for it, and he's done himself no favours whatsoever. Like I said, the player had potential to be top. Really, it's time to buy him a giant mirror. It's like, look in the mirror, son. Barcelona didn't want to buy you for 30-odd million. That's a drop in the ocean for a club like Barcelona. Nobody in the Premier League allegedly wants you either. So I don't see any, I said recently maybe Tottenham should sign him, but they're obviously not getting the bids. So you're already at one of the biggest clubs in the world. Like, at some point, when does the penny drop? Because your next contract's not going to be 350 grand a week. The Saudi money looks like it's going away. I ain't sure Turkey, somewhere he's going to want to live. Yep. So where are you going after this? How old is he now? He's still, he's in his prime. So he's really got to figure this out and buckle down, or he's going to become a 31-year-old nobody, who basically his career is dried up and finished, in a few years' time. So really, maybe they're going to motivate Marcus Rashford. Maybe that will suit Man United. But I agree about the body language. I agree everything that happened before, and he ended up with a massive contract that they can't get out from under. So I don't think the people at United, the powers to be, will fall for that again.
News.
Let's be honest, we've all found ourselves
we'll chat more with
raging
Matt
at a referee's decision at some
and the
stage.
news headlines.
Something like this.
Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon. Andy Burnham says he doesn't want to see a single prisoner released early. There's been plenty of criticism about the scheme, and most prominently whether two of PC Andrew Harper's killers will be eligible. The Prime Minister says he's asked the Justice Secretary to present a plan to tackle overcrowding in prisons next month.
I hope we can get to a position where people who have committed the serious crimes are not in the position where they are being released early, and that would include the killers of PC Andrew Harper.
Temperatures could hit 38 degrees this Thursday in the Midlands and southeast of England. It's the fifth heat wave of the summer, and records keep being broken. It'll be the first time we've had highs of above 35 degrees in 4 consecutive months. Councils could soon be handed more powers to stop bookies and vape shops opening on high streets. Under new plans, they'll now need planning permission. And Heathrow's been overtaken by Istanbul as Europe's busiest airport. It's as the Iran-US conflict has had an impact on London's airport passenger traffic. Numbers on Middle East routes last month down 20% year on year.
Talk Sport Sports Headlines with Bostik. For workable, easy-to-apply mortar that tools easily, pros trust Bostik.
Miles Lewis-Skelly's being offered to other clubs, and Calvin Phillips is back at Sheffield United on loan. Will's back at 2.
talkSPORT Drive this afternoon from 4.
More sport to the gallon.
Sport-stacked commuter communication.
Hot wheelings across the nation.
In a fast lane of its own. Quad-wheeled dialogue delivered at the speed of sport. Here we come! This afternoon from 4. talkSPORT Drive.
Here! No! Misses! Never mind the Rolex. Here's that Hawksbee Jacobs.
Matt Jarvis with us in the studio. We're looking ahead to the start of the EFL. Of course, talkSPORT is your home of the EFL throughout the season. Matt spent time at West Ham, Norwich, Gillingham. We shouldn't forget Gillingham. Was it your first club?
Yeah, debut season. Yeah.
Do you keep an eye on their results and how they're doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, I loved my time at the Gills.
Yeah.
Really good club.
So the teams that have come up into the Championship this season are Lincoln City, and we chatted to their management duo the other day. Cardiff City were back, and Bolton Wanderers, who came in through the playoffs. I suppose, there'll be a lot of eyes on Lincoln, and it's a great story. It's whether they can consolidate and stay up for that first season.
Yeah, it's tough, I think, but you thrive as a player. You want to play in the next level. You've either played there before and you want to get back to it, or it's the first time playing at that level, and you're just desperate to get there and to do well. So I think the first sort of 6 to 8 weeks is a little bit of a learning curve, but at the same time, you've got no fear because it's fresh and you can just go into them games expressing yourself and really going and attacking whoever team that you're playing for. You're going to be going to stadiums you've not played in before. So it is being that team that's, for instance, going to the London Stadium, big stadium, they're going to go and express themselves and go and do well. Then it's going to be teams working them out and understanding what they're all about. And then that sort of slowly changes the situation towards the end of the season.
2 of the promoted championship teams survived last year, which was a pretty good thing, really, because we got a bit fed up with 3 up, 3 down. How easy would it be this season for them, though?
It's tough. It is tough, but as I said, you want to have that good start to the season, and I think that breeds confidence within the group. And then it's about maintaining consistency, not getting too high, too low, because you're going to win game on a Saturday, you might lose one on the Tuesday. And everyone says, oh, you want to stay unbeaten, and you draw, but actually the win and the loss is actually better. So you want to be able to go out and win games rather than get them draws. And I think for teams that are wanting to stay in this league, it's about consistency. And making sure that players know their roles and responsibilities within that team. Set pieces are obviously huge. And managers that I've worked under, they're a real stickler for the tactics and understanding where you're supposed to be in each areas. And I think that proves really important throughout the course of the season.
So as a player, what are the key things you notice when you go from the second level, the Championship, into the Premier League?
I think the biggest, for me as a winger, in the Championship, you get less time on the ball, but it's actually sort of easier to do something with. I think you can nip it round someone. You're quicker than them, or they're quick, but they're not tactically aware. You can get in at the far post behind them. Whereas in the Premier League, you get a little bit more time on the ball. You get that, I suppose, earn that respect a little bit. But actually, then it's harder to do something with. You'll cut inside to have a shot. They'll just get there in front of you and block it. You'll try and go down the line. They'll step off and give you a bit of room, but then they're quicker and stronger to get their arm across, and they'll know when to try and block that cross. You just get a little bit more time, but it's actually harder to do something with the ball.
Who are some of the toughest fullbacks you came up against then in your ones you always think, oh no, not him, not this weekend?
Do you know what? Honestly, I absolutely loved it. I loved it playing against them all. I played like Zabaleta was when he first come to the Premier League with City. Mika Richards there as well. Glenn Johnson, Ivanovic. I only played, I think, two times on the right wing, and Ashley Cole. And he's by far the best fullback that's ever played in the Premier League, in my opinion.
That's unusual now, isn't it? Because most left-footed wide men do
invert.
Invert. It's quite rare to see one on the other side.
Yeah, well, that's something I had to learn, because I wasn't necessarily left-footed to start with. I was definitely right foot cutting in, and then you then just learn very quickly you have to be able to go down the line.
Yeah.
And then that's another, hopefully, a string to your bow. But you want to. I didn't like just seeing wingers always coming inside, always coming. You still want, as a fan, I think, you want to see someone take someone on, go past them, and then put either a cross or a shot in at the outside.
It is very frustrating when someone's playing down that side and they're being shown outside all the time, and then they live down to the fullback's expectations by putting in a terrible cross or just duffing one. The great wingers can do both. They can keep you guessing, can't they?
Absolutely, but you have the strikers that are in the box absolutely crucifying you for not putting it in. If you keep coming inside and shooting, keep coming in. I had, for instance, Andy Carroll that would be chewing if I didn't go down the line and hang a ball up to the far post for him. So that's what you want to have as a wide player and as a centre forward. And I think that's why now centre forwards have changed over the years, because they just had crosses coming in the box, whereas now they've had to adapt a bit because there's not as many people going down the line and making them crosses to the far post for them.
I wonder if you might get a call from Wolves, because Raul Jimenez has gone back, and he's a man who likes the ball into the box. They're all very excited. They're delighted. We talked to Susie Perry, the TV presenter, who's a big Wolves fan, and she was saying that they're really chuffed to have him back. They're very excited.
Yeah, good sign.
And he showed, didn't he, in the World Cup for Mexico that there's a bit of the old magic is still there.
Absolutely, yeah. I think he even showed in the Premier League last year the amount of goals he scored. Yeah, he'd be a top player in the Championship. And obviously going back to Wolves is it's a nice feel factor for everyone. And he's going to still want to show everyone that he's still got it. So he's still going to be on song, really trying to get them goals in. And, he's going to have someone like Trippier at the right fullback bombing forward to try and put the balls into the box for him. And, his class finishing, he knows where he needs to be. He won't be the one running the channel anymore, but he'll be the one holding the ball up and just getting in the right areas where the crosses will be coming.
They've got a new manager as well, haven't they? Yeah. So he's gone in after Rob Edwards. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how he gets on at Wolves.
Yeah, he's inherited a squad that I suppose knew that they were going to be in the Championship.
Yeah.
He's also had some really good players that have come in. And it's about him now setting the tone of what his expectations are. I think when you walk in as a manager, you have them first sort of moments in either the meetings or the first couple of training sessions to get your vision across to the players, and it's for them to actually buy into. And I think at the moment, that's exactly what he's done. And you've still got players that are going to be coming into the club, and they'll probably still be looking at players to leave as well. But ultimately, he's got a really good squad of players that are going to go to whatever system and whatever type of play that he wants, and ultimately he's had time to mould them.
Yeah. And like you said, Andy, it's going to be interesting with Southampton. We're in the new Jose Mourinho documentary. John Terry admits that Jose came in one day with Bolton's training from the day before, complete with Sam's comments on what they should be doing before they played Bolton. So I think we said, Tonda Eckert, you're off the hook. But they are a good side, aren't they? So, one of the other ones is Borough. They've just... Will Lancashire scored a great goal the other night.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do really well for them. He did well at Oxford, despite the fact they went down. So I think they've recruited well. So I certainly see them sort of right in the mix, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's momentum as well. Yes, towards the end of the season, maybe hit and miss, I suppose, with everything that went on. But they've recruited really well. They've made some big signings in key areas. And they already had a good squad. So now they've added to it, like I said earlier, about you want to add players that are going to go into your starting 11, and they've done that. And the best thing for them is he scored on his debut.
Yeah.
And that's a feeling for a player. Yeah. And if you hit the ground running, you just don't know what's going to happen. If it takes him 3, 4, 5 games, you then start getting the pressure comes on you as well from the fans, and you have put it on yourself. But he's hit the ground running, and there's nothing better.
Bit of an acrobatic one, wasn't it? It was a really good finish. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen that. I read about it.
Really good finish. So let's have a quick one on the Premier League. It does feel it's going to be very competitive next year, doesn't it, Matt? There's a lot of teams that are going to be pushing, a lot of teams who've spent money and have strengthened. So, but
it's so hard to predict, because if you'd have said last year that Sunderland were going to have such a brilliant season, people would have said, "You're mad, they're going down."
Yeah,
look what they did.
They kind of broke all the rules. They put in lots and lots of. We got bed loads and loads of players in. Yeah, they managed to do that, didn't they? And played brilliant.
That's really impressive. Yeah. It is, because I think everyone had said the same thing a little bit before about Nottingham Forest did the same, and they've sort of struggled really, whereas Sunderland just had that right from the off. The team gelled. It got a few results, and winning games breeds confidence for anyone. So for them, it was just an exceptional start, and then you're just hanging on to it until the pressure sort of starts to kick in towards the end of the season as expectations rise throughout with the fan base. But it's going to be really competitive this year, because you've now got 3 teams that were in the Premier League that have gone down, as in like the established Premier League sides. So now you're going to have teams that are coming up from the Championship that are really going to try and do well and have a good go. And you've also got teams that were sort of maybe down the bottom that now, like for instance, a Spurs that were down, that now they've reinvented their squad. They're going to be challenging. You've got the top teams that have all added loads of players to it. So the only one that you'd still say that would probably be up there is Arsenal, and then the rest of them are fighting around it.
Yeah.
You've got the 3 teams who did really well last year, but they've got Europe. So will they cope with that?
That's a big boy, because you've got to add for your squad and depth. And competing on 2 games a week really over the season for them is going to be tricky.
Matt, lovely to see you. I'm no doubt we'll chat during the season, but for now, thanks for popping and thanks for coming.
Pleasure.
Yes, Matt Jarvis there, former West Ham, Norwich and Wolves winger. Gary McAllister joining us very shortly from Liverpool and Leeds and Scotland fame for a bit of a chat. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT with our very good friends at Toolstation. First stop, Toolstation.
I know Salah didn't play as much last season, but to not have Mo Salah, your talisman, like, who's going to take that? No, Isak should, but he's right to call it there, Egan. His injury record is horrendous. If he gets injured again, touch what he doesn't, who's the striker? Gakpo, false nine?
Apparently they're in for Bacola. I like him. I think he's top player.
Do you think he's a £130 million player?
Well, if Elliot Anderson's 10? How much they pay for it?
110.
Morgan Rogers, your mate, has gone to
117.
117 million.
I know.
Like Bacola,
crazy, isn't it?
Of course, PSG are going to say, well, all right, he's 130 million. He won the Champions League, playing the World Cup.
But if you're Liverpool, is that exactly what you need off that left-hand side?
Probably not. They need a replacement for Salah.
They need goals.
Yeah, they need goals.
Do you know what I mean? Barcola I agree. I love watching him. I feel like if I was a right back, I wouldn't sleep the night before playing against him. He's rapid. He's 6'2", wherever he is, long stride, quick, but he's not a finisher. The amount of times I've watched him and he's gone through one goal and he'll make the wrong pass and finishes are a bit wild and doesn't finish chances he should do. Liverpool need to be bringing in a winger who's going to get goals, because you can't rely on Isak. You can't. You should be able to. Wirtz isn't a goal scorer. You spent over 100 million for Wirtz, and he's not a goal scorer, mate.
Feels like it's a bit of a mess.
McAllister wasn't good last season. How's he going to come back after the World Cup? Zoboszlai is obviously a fantastic player. Gravenberch needed some help last season in that number 6 as well.
I just can't believe that Liverpool, we're saying, Champions League. Yeah, we'd take Champions League.
I agree. Their fans won't like it.
talkSPORT, traffic and travel with Subway. Load up your fresh sub with an unbeatable lineup, including all the fresh salad and sauces you like.
talkSPORT Drive. This afternoon from 4.
More sport to the gallon.
Sport-stacked commuter communication.
Hot wheelings across the nation.
In a fast lane of its own.
Former England all-rounder Chris Wokes joining us for a chat a little bit later on, but we'll stick with the football now because it's 20 years of the British Par 3 Championship, which always gets a great turnout of sporting names, and one of them joins us now. It's the former Leicester, Leeds and Liverpool and Scotland midfielder, Gary McAllister. Are you, Gary?
How are you doing, lads? Are we okay?
Yeah, we're cracking the flags. Looking very nice there, of course, where you are in Warwickshire. Have you played yet, Gary?
No, I'm playing this afternoon. I'm tee off at 2:30. The shotgun at 2:30. The afternoon tee off.
Fantastic. Are you a regular at this event?
I've played 2 or 3 times. It's a magnificent little event here. The course is, when you say par 3s, you think it'll be easy, but it's really tough.
Yeah.
We're defending champions, actually. I played in a team last year that won it. So
really? Okay.
One of the guys in the team had 7 natural toes.
Wow,
7 natural toes?
Yeah.
Really?
Twos, not toes.
Toes.
News just
I've heard people with 6, but not 7.
Must be hard to find. Must be hard to find. Must be hard to find a pair of golf shoes, I would imagine, wouldn't it? Really? So let's have a sort of Liverpool chat. We'll kick off with. It's been an interesting pre-season. I think a few Liverpool fans getting a bit nervous, but I mean, you can tell us you've been there. Should we read anything at all into pre-season, and are you concerned with what you've seen?
Well, the thing is, there's been quite a lot of injuries, in the really sort of crucial positions as well. Right back, centre back. Obviously, they've just brought Arahu in, so they've done something about that. But I was at the game at the weekend against Monaco where they went 2 up, and in the first half an hour looked really sharp. And I think the positive thing, just looking at the tactical changes between Areola and Arne, it looked as if they were getting the ball forward a bit quicker. There was more speed in the attack. It wasn't a slow build-up. And hence, I felt in the first half an hour of the game, before Liverpool started making a few changes, Isak and Florian Wirtz looked sharp. So they've had a tough year at Liverpool their first season, but now they've got a bit of, they know the place, they know the fans, they know the grounds that obviously Isak knows the Premier League, but Wirtz especially, Liverpool need him and Isak to have big seasons, I feel.
Yeah, I read a review of the game and they were saying that they look like they've been doing a lot of work together, because you could see how key they would be, wouldn't they?
Yeah, the thing with Wirtz is, I've actually come up against them when we were with Steven Gerrard at Rangers when we played Leverkusen, and he's a 10. But Arne had him playing maybe to the side, to the left or to the right. But I think just as sat in behind Isak, I think those two will hit it off. And those little runs that Isak makes, Wirtz is the man that can find them. So they're going to be begging across, of course, in the middle of the park. McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch, they'll be key. So but the 2 guys at the front end of the pitch are the ones for me.
Yeah, it's so early though. I mean, Areola was saying after the match they can only run for 30 minutes in the way that he wants them to, which is not surprising because they haven't trained with him that much or that long. So you'd imagine, and same at Bournemouth, they just got better and better, didn't they?
No, I think the thing was, it was like I thought Arne did an amazing job. Arne, to follow Jurgen and win the league. I know people said it was a majority of Jurgen's players, but they still had to go there. And there was subtle changes in the season they won the league, but they won it in a canter. But last season it just fell away a wee bit and just sort of lost their way. And the fact it got a wee bit slow and laborious, and you guys know what it's like at Anfield. The fans, they want to see it getting forward. They want to see shots and crosses, and they want to see fast attacking people. And that just sort of disappeared. And I wasn't really surprised when Liverpool made the change to Areola, he's probably more aligned to Jurgen.
Yeah. One of the other maybe red flags has been the fact they've been giving away a lot of set-piece goals.
Defensively might be a problem.
Did that again at the weekend, and there's a few people kind of starting to feel that maybe Virgil van Dijk isn't the player he once was. I mean, are you having that, Gary, or not?
Well, the thing is, he's been, I don't know, what's Jurgen, Van Dijk's been there 8, 9, 10 seasons now. I think that's what and for the first 8.5, 9 seasons, he's hardly put a foot wrong. And there was a couple of times when there was a couple of individual errors from Van Dijk. I think it was just the surprise of seeing him actually making errors of judgment and making, unforced errors. So I'm sure he'll have looked at his season and had a good pre-season, and he's still top. He's still a Rolls Royce for me.
Let's have a quick one on Leeds as well, because they kind of had that little sort of dalliance down the bottom of the table, but Daniel Farke put that run together, made the changes, didn't he, to the setup of the team, and they never looked back. So how are you viewing next season?
No, I agree with you there, because it was. I think it was at the Etihad, wasn't it, against Man City, when they were taking a bit of a beating. He made quite a raft of changes, and he changed the shape. He went to a back 3 and got 2 guys up front. And then, pulled away from the slow build-up and just got the ball forward, which I think suits Calvert-Lewin. And again, Harry Wilson signing there. Harry Wilson just sort of playing in the middle of the park, looked to serve Calvert-Lewin. And keeping Calvert-Lewin on the pitch is key. And that's as soon as they did that last season, they spent a lot of time looking at his fitness, because when Calvert-Lewin actually gets half a dozen 10 games in a row, he looks as if he can score goals. And that's what they'll be hoping for. And again, they've made a big splash for the goalkeeper. Trafford's it's a big signing.
Good signing, I think.
Now, it also looks like they're edging closer to appointing someone to take over from Steve Clarke with Scotland. I've read a little bit you did in the Scotsman where you were throwing Rafa Benitez name into that.
Well, it was one of those names that was thrown in, and I suppose you're sort of saying like Roberto Martinez and Moise. I just don't think they're gettable. I don't know, the salaries that they've been working for. I don't know if the SFA pay that. So, but Rafa looking for a way back in. All the guys that I played with in my little short period at Liverpool, and the players that played under Rafa speak ever so highly of him. The discipline, the preparation. And he's a winner as well. He's won everything nearly. So somebody like that is who you'd like as a national manager, wouldn't it? It's like he's been there, seen it, and done it, and is getting vast amounts of experience. I know it probably will never happen. But there's no an outstanding candidate for me, guys. I don't see one. Stephen A. Smith, Clarkie's assistant, might just be a step too much for his first major gig. I think Derek McInnes would have been in contention if he didn't go to Glasgow Rangers.
That'll be available soon.
No, do not say
come on,
only joking.
No.
Yeah.
Big game on Thursday, though.
Yeah, that's right. That is a big game on Thursday. Yeah, it's been a funny old start for him, isn't it? I mean, again, any red flags, or do you think it's just early days he'll get it right?
No, absolutely. I think he's somebody with vast experience. What he did with Aberdeen, running up against the old firm and nearly jumped above them. And then the work that he did at Hearts, the same, the recruitment and the whole analysis thing. He's proven that in that league. He knows that league like the back of his hand. So things will pull together. I think Rangers will make a few more signings before the deadline. And I think it'll be hard to move the Celtic and Rangers from the top two.
Just final one on Scotland. I mean, how do you break that cycle of qualifying for tournaments, which is brilliant? It's great to be doing it again, of course, but then turning up at the tournaments and not delivering. I mean, how did you view the World Cup?
I've got to say, I've been like you two, have been in football and been in and around it for a long, long time. I went there with the SFA as a guest, and it's the best couple of weeks I've ever had in football. The fans and the build-up and the games were. Honestly, and obviously I don't know if you've seen when the Scotland fans took over Fenway.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It was just a magical couple of weeks with spending and the behaviour and the way the Bostonites took to the Jocks, and then jumping into Fort Lauderdale and Miami with the Brazilians. It was, but our football wasn't great.
No,
world champions at drinking and supporting were very good.
It's tough, It's. Do you think they should be punching a bit more though, Scotland, when they get to the tournament?
I thought this. We've run it close, and we have been unlucky on occasion. But I felt this was a great opportunity. And especially starting with a win, even though it was only the 1-0, and obviously the goal difference was the problem. But we should have been able to cope with Morocco and Brazil and just keep the scores down a wee bit better. The players. You could feel that the players they knew it was a great opportunity.
Well, Gary, really appreciate your time. Have a good round this afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
All the very best. Cheers.
Gary McAllister there, former Liverpool, Leeds and Scotland midfielder, and Leicester, of course. Our thanks to Champions UK. It's their British Par 3 Championship he's at this afternoon at Nellcote Hall in Warwickshire. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. And still to come this afternoon, Chris Wokes will be joining us. We'll speak to the incredible Bonnie Jill Laughlin, who is a club ambassador for Radcliffe FC in the National League North, but also a former NBA scout, Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, actor in Baywatch, and model. It is quite the story. She'll be joining us in the studio, along with three of the strongest men in this country as well. They'll be with us in the next hour. We'll be talking Mo Salah with Melissa Reddy, who's written a new biography of him. That's all to come.
I've been watching Chelsea pre-season. I'm making a statement now. There is no reason why Chelsea cannot win this title. In fact, I'm going to say it. Chelsea win the title.
Oh!
Chelsea win the title. There is something about Chelsea. There is something about what we have got a cheat code. I'm not proud to say this, but we can go and win the title for a number of reasons. One, have you seen our front three? João Pedro, Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer's at a rest. He's been absolutely flogged. João Pedro's had a rest. Our midfield, the recruitment at the back, looks like almost certainly we're going to be playing a three at the back with someone called Xabi Alonso that knows how to win a title. One game a week. We saw how beneficial that can be when Conte took over Chelsea. Went to three at the back. Chelsea win the title. History is going to repeat itself. No, I never go out on a limb and talk like this about Chelsea. I said Arsenal win the title for the last 3 seasons, and eventually they did. I'm going Chelsea. You Gooners, you should be fearful of Chelsea. Yes, you're favourites, and I get it. And you've got an unbelievable team, and you've proven why you're the title holders because you deserve it. But I've got to tell you, there's a cheat code, and that cheat code is Chelsea playing 1 game a week, and we have a manager in Xabi Alonso who knows how to win a title. There are only 2 managers that can win this title that have won a title in the past, and that's Xabi Alonso and Mikel Arteta. Liverpool, new manager. Andoni Iraola doesn't know how to win a title. Spurs, De Zerbi. What's De Zerbi won? What's he won? Where's the noise?
He's annoyed. There we go. There we go.
There you go. Carrick. What's he won? There you go.
There we go.
Chris Wokes joining us for a bit of a cricket chat later on, but first Will Hobbs has the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update with NordVPN, now with built-in next-gen antivirus that automatically detects malicious links, websites and files.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon. talkSPORT understands Arsenal's Miles Lewis-Skelly, who started the Champions League final, of course, is being offered to multiple clubs, including Manchester United and Chelsea. It's in the wake, of course, of the Bruno Guimaraes signing. Peterborough owner Dara McAntony says it's sad to see big clubs selling their own talent, particularly given Lewis-Skelly's resilience last season.
Even being dropped and whatever else, he still came back from that and played in those key games. So look, it might be good for business. And someone said, what's he worth? I said, anywhere from 40 to 60 for a player of that age that's English.
Meanwhile, Forest have signed defender Ousmane Diomande from Sporting for £34.3 million. Shea Charles has completed a £30 million move to Fulham from Southampton. Calvin Phillips is set to head back on loan to Sheffield United. And is Christian Romero set for his dream La Liga move? Here's talkSPORT senior football correspondent Ben Jacobs.
Yeah, unless we get a twist, Atletico Madrid are the front runners. Spurs and Arsenal were never really going to do business. And Barcelona, despite the fact Ronald Araujo has gone to Liverpool on a loan, haven't made their move yet.
Ben Jacobs there, our senior transfer correspondent. He also reckons a bid could come in today. Gabby Agbonlahor, meanwhile, he's cast doubt on Jason Cundy's dream of Chelsea winning the Premier League this season. He says the squad has too many holes.
Losing Cucurella's massive. They didn't have the best defensive record last season as it is. Losing Cucurella, best left back in the league. We know Reece James injury problems as well. Could continue next season.
talkSPORT understands Manchester City appreciate Enzo Fernandez as an option to replace Rodri. Chelsea maintain his £120 million price tag.
talkSPORT News.
Andy Burnham says his team is in touch with the family of PC Harper as the PM looks to keep his killers in prison. And temperatures are creeping up as forecasters predict 38 degrees on Thursday. Sinead has more at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Heatwave outside, oven inside. Stay cool this summer with a free aircon check. Book online or visit your local QuickFit today.
Another hot, dry and sunny day for most of us, with some light winds, cloudier in the northwest of Scotland and western parts of Northern Ireland, with some outbreaks of light rain, very warm in the sunshine.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're coming up in the second hour, the England all-round, former England all-rounder. Sadly, Chris Wokes will be joining us for a chat. We're going to be joined by three of the strongest men in this country. They are doing a new YouTube show, which sees them in an old country retirement village. And what ensues after that, we'll tell you more about that later on. And Bonnie Jill Laughlin will be here. Actress, model, NBA scout, club ambassador as well for Radcliffe FC. She'll be telling us why. But before that, we're going to talk Mo Salah. We're just chatting to Gary McAllister about Liverpool and big shoes to fill despite what went on last season with Mo. We all know now he's gone to Trabzonspor. Melissa Reddy has written Only Mo Salah, an intimate portrait of the Egyptian king. And Melissa's joined us in the studio. Hi, Melissa.
Good to be here.
Good to
you've got
see you.
three of the world's strongest men and one of the world's smallest women. Yeah. A good combination in the studio today.
Yeah, they'll be. You'll see them on your way out, which will be cool.
I was in the lift with them, and I think I took up the most space and weighed the most.
Should be a photo op, I think, definitely. Now, people obviously know you from probably from Sky Sports News over the years, but you were an author and sort of written journalist before, so this is not your first rodeo, is it?
No, it's my passion, actually. Writing, the storytelling, getting to grips with the real depth of someone, and why I felt it was important to do a book on Mohamed Salah. He'd been in the Premier League just shy of a decade, but I think there was a lot unknown about him, and because there was so much left unknown, there was a perception created of him and a framing which, whenever I would speak to people in Egypt or that had actually ever played with him or worked with him, they would say this is so far from the reality. And I thought, well, I should try and tell that story. So over 13 months, I, across continents, spoke to a variety of people, from friends to coaches to performance analysts, doctors, from the national team, through every single club he ever represented. And I went as far back till he was 12 years old. And I learned so much about him, and I covered him at close quarters for 9 years.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind in so many ways, the impact he has off the pitch. Forget about he's an extraordinary footballer that has rewritten so many records, but what he means to at least 500 million people, that's the Egyptian population and the Arabic world, and what he means to them by just being so proudly himself and for showing possibilities, has been absolutely game-changing. And in working on this book, I watched a video of women across all of Egypt, across all ages. And there'd been like a mic stand set up. Do you have a tribute to Mohamed Salah? And they were saying, thank you so much for the way you treat Maggie and your daughters, because that's shown the men in this country, in our culture,
That's interesting.
how to treat us as well. You've done so much for us you don't understand. And it's small things like that. There were two drug addicts who he had done a campaign, Salah, in Egypt to encourage people to sign up to seek help. When he did that advert, the call line spiked by 400%. But two of the people who asked for help because of watching the advert and then changed their lives around were giving testimony about how this impacted them. And it was shown to Salah, and he was so emotional, and he said, people think I am a hero because I'm talented and because of things I do on a football pitch. It's like the real heroes are these people who were at the absolute bottom and could manage to pick themselves up and had the strength and the courage to totally transform their lives. And I thought, that's a side that people don't really see of him. And when I speak about the impact off the pitch, it's about how ordinary lives have been changed for the better by him.
It was slightly painful last season for Liverpool after a brilliant time there. Why do you think he's gone to Trabzonspor? People seem fairly surprised that he'd do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were judging what he would do next by what they wanted him to do or what they perceived he was looking for. But if you think about it, he wanted to retire at Liverpool, right? That was his home, it was his peace, his family loved it. He felt forced out, so he cancels his contract a year early. So when you're in that situation, you're feeling forced out and you're feeling you've still got so much to give and you want to give it, ideally, you're looking for somewhere that really, really wants you, somewhere you can add meaning, and somewhere where you can still feed off the passion. He wanted to stay in Europe, but also where you can contribute, you can play a leading role to contribute to something that could echo throughout eternity. Imagine if he wins league titles or trophies there. It's not just going to the MLS and having, a nice brand endorsement for a few years. It's actually to the people of Turkey. And when you looked at the reception he's received and everything that's happened since the move, it's again feeding into that whole ethos of making a difference, being a symbol of hope, showing possibilities. And when he first moved to Europe at the age of 19, he sat down, and I was with the sporting director of FC Basel, and signing his contract, this is such a huge thing to happen for him. He's still a teenager, and he sits there and he says, this is not about me. I need to change the perception of Egyptian footballers. I need to show kids in the country that you can make something of your life, that you can become greater than just the small window of opportunities we have in our country. And I mean, look at what he's done since
That's quite
then.
a responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
honestly, it's crazy. It is ridiculous. And at the time as well, Egyptian football was completely shuttered because of the Port Said Stadium disaster. There was social and political upheaval in the country. And so young men especially were desperate for something to look towards. And he took that upon himself. But when you read the book and when you understand the depth of what that means, the pressures and the relentlessness of it, you will respect what he's done in the game so much more, because he's had all of this bubbling around and he still managed to make extraordinary the norm.
I'm saying that an example of being a star in Egyptian football, I remember, because he was playing at Tottenham and I kept an eye on it. When Mido got married, it was broadcast live on Egyptian TV.
Yeah.
It's like a royal wedding. So when you are the face of Egyptian football, a big country with a huge population, football mad, as Andy said, it brings a lot of responsibility, doesn't it?
Yeah, 110 million people. And remember, because he's such a global figure, he's playing in the best league in the world. For large portions of it, he was the best player in the league as well. And so then people also look to use your image, or they look to align with you, and his ability to not get roped into that and not get dragged into that and stand aside and actually be outspoken about women's rights and funding centres for girls, educational centres, all these things that are in opposition to what would be normal and accepted in Egypt. To go against that is incredibly brave, as the more you uncover about Egypt in this book and the state of play, you'll understand how strong that was from him.
So what do you think he'll do after football? Do you think he'll I mean, it sounds like he's got interest beyond football. Do you think somebody will stay in football? Will he coach? What will he do?
I don't know if I see him as a coach particularly, but I think around football, if there's a chance to create opportunities or development projects, he's very smart away from it in terms of the investment and property portfolio and all those kind of things. Yeah. So away from the game, I think he's outstanding in the decisions he's made financially. When it comes to football and his personal life, I found throughout from the age of 12, he's always had this desire of what is the meaning of what I'm doing? How is this going beyond me? What am I changing or what am I influencing? And that's why I think if he remains in football, that will continue because that's just part of who he is.
Ambassadorial, right?
Yeah, interesting. We've got to go, Andy, because it is 1:15 and our guests await. The strong men await. I'm not keeping the strong men waiting. Well, lovely to see you, Melissa. We wish you well with the book. It's out this week.
Yeah, it's published on Thursday. You can pre-order it already from Amazon and wherever else you get your books. And yeah, I hope people are pleasantly surprised by the real Mo Salah.
On Amazon now, don't worry about that.
Yeah, now Bezos is born. Yeah, that's right. It'll be on the front page, #1 bestseller. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks very much. Melissa Reddy's book, Only Mo Salah, an intimate portrait of the Egyptian king, published by Orion Books in hardback. And yeah, you'll be able to pre-order it now. We are joined by 3 of the strongest men in the nation and their new YouTube series they'll be telling us about. We're here with our very good friends at Tool Station. First up, Tool Station.
We don't know because do you know what I'm not buying, Gabby? I'm not buying this whole Victor would have been a problem. I don't know if we would have been Vinny would have taken the number 7 shirt, would he?
No,
we don't know.
I don't think that, but like Vinny Junior's character, like he's coming to Arsenal, he wants Ballon d'Ors, he wants. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what's wrong with that?
No, but I'm saying, and also he's coming in on a lot more money than other players. If you're Saka and Rice and Ryan and Gabriel and Saliba, and he's coming in.
Well,
what you're earning,
massive causes.
Well, if you've won a couple of Champions Leagues, right, and the league is running out your ears, then
as far as the other players are concerned, that doesn't matter.
Why not? Why does that not matter?
They're the players who just won you the Premier League.
But that's the player. But that's the marquee signing. Bruno G cannot be our marquee signing. He can't. We need a statement signing. That's what I would like.
Don't need a statement signing. You don't need any particular signing. You'll win this Premier League without it. And, people will say, strengthen from a position of strength. Well, just ask Liverpool fans what happened when they won the league and they strengthened with people like Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz.
Do you know what my issue is that I do think we're going to win the league this year, and I think we're stronger. But I think of the fact that when you're in these kind of positions, like a Man City were when they first won the league, when they beat United on goal difference, you have to capitalise. You have to know that your future depends on this 2, 3, 4 year period.
Now, we've been joined in the studio by three of the strongest men in Britain. Gavin Bilton, Wales' strongest man, Paddy Haynes, England's strongest man, Ben Glasscock as well, another member of the strongman team. And they have a new series on YouTube, and I watched the trailer from it earlier on. It's an interesting concept. It is called Giant Problems, and it sees the three of them in everyday life in a little sleepy Cotswold village. Let's give you a flavour of it now.
Paddy, I'm not going to lie, Atterbury is pretty cool.
We heard when you were in town.
I mean, it's only a small village.
Afternoon, sir.
Try not to scare anyone on the way. 2, 3, 4.
Tonight, we've got a special concert on.
The real winner is baking.
Gav's going to give an entire village diabetes. This is treacherous, man. I think we might kill an old lady today, lads. It can't go any worse.
I'm stuck. The perfect crime.
There we are. Guys, good to see you.
Hi, yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
So it's in Adbury, and that, Paddy's, somewhere you know well as a village.
Yeah, so I've grown up in Adbury my whole life. Recently moved out to Banbury, which is about 5 minutes away. My whole family lives in Adbury. So, yeah, we're very it's one of those sort of very closed-off local villages where sleepy little village in the Cotswolds where not much happens usually.
Was this your idea to do this? Whose idea was the show?
It came about, we were filming a documentary with the crew, and they sort of see like our rapport backstage at comps is very much like what we're like normally. So it's quite strong personalities, but we all get on. It's very much a brotherhood in the sport, which I don't think a lot of people would expect. We all get on, we all have banter, and I think they were just interviewing us and thought these guys come across really, really well.
Yeah.
And then, the cogs start turning and you think, what's the least appropriate thing we could do with this?
So
we got here.
So when it was pitched to you first, Gavin, were you up for it straight away? Did you think, I like the sound of
I got a phone call from the team, and working with these guys, I've known them for years. Why wouldn't you? I mean, this is a great opportunity. Something I think that people are going to find very funny. We get on really well. We've filmed a few episodes, and nothing is forced or natural. These are great guys. Shame they're English. I know we should be more welcome.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Language barrier, terrible. But yeah, when I got the phone call, I was up for it straight away. There was no woman in an hour. I thought, why not? This would be great. And so you see us in a different light. We're not just strong men. Quite funny. I think I'm quite funny. Like,
What are you doing for the community though? What are your sort of tasks?
Pestering them as much as possible, just getting in and amongst it, and
they seem quite welcoming. They seem to be quite enjoying your presence.
Great
You're helping them, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well,
kind of.
We're sort of set a few challenges by the crew throughout the day, and with the help of the locals. And the sleepy villagers, we managed to sort of get through the day. But I'm not sure what they thought of us as we left, with the mess we left behind. But it made for an entertaining day, that's for sure.
The whole concept of the first episode that you've obviously seen the trailer for there is, could three strong men blend into sort of like a retired lifestyle?
Yeah.
Could we do what they do? And we answered that question.
Strongmen versus everyday life is an interest, because just even coming into the studio, we've squeezed you into like 3 seats against 2 mics.
Gav's quite warm.
You don't need to be that strong to do jigsaws, though, do you?
Mentally.
Oh, yeah, mentally strong.
But like, just you going, that's just a normal size seat, but there were you kind of squeezing into one of our seats. So everyday life can be a bit of a challenge for guys of your size, can't it?
Yeah, right down to the clothes and the cars you drive and the clothes you're wearing, and just getting about. I mean, stairs. Lucky there was an elevator, otherwise this would have never happened.
Yeah.
I saw the escalator on the way in as well. That was great news for me. Like, being 180 kilos. Yes, it's just part of the sport. You have to be big. I enjoy being this big as well. It's great.
Seeing you all turn up in that 3 at 500 as well was quite interesting.
It was nice of Ben to go.
How much do you have to train? Did this disrupt your training?
That's actually okay, isn't it? Yeah.
It's all right. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sort of doing like 4 days a week of training, but it will be intense and it'll be 2-3 hours a day. So you do end up with sort of gaps in your schedule where you can come and do fun stuff. But you know, we work around our schedules. There's so many competitions each year. We're all prepping for a comp at the minute. So obviously we need to be careful with filming and stuff when we're really prepping into a comp. Because we've got some big comps coming up as well.
Yeah, you got the Deadlift World Championships happening. It's the best deadlifts on the planet. I've all been invited for a one-day show to pull your biggest deadlift, then do 4 other events. So when those dates get creeping, the weights get heavier. You're kind of looking after yourself as much as you can. But with the filming, you would make the commitment because you want to be part of this. So yeah, you just be careful. It's not too strenuous. You get to hang out with some of your good friends as well. So why not?
And we're not actually lifting anything heavy either, which is quite a nice change.
Yeah,
for
it
us.
is.
I think it's like a church pew one of you had there.
Yes.
I think that was about it.
Yeah, I gave myself a bit of a physical challenge. You know, we could have made it easier, but other than that, the heaviest thing we picked up was a ukulele and hopped on the.
You've not brought the ukuleles today, Sam.
We weren't allowed. I don't think the Atterbury ukulele group would be very happy with us. Really, they were on rental. You see.
I suppose, Ben, the only time we really see the strongmen, we see you with your game faces on when you're just about to do a big lift. That's news, Justin. You're just about to do and then all we see you going. We don't actually get any kind of feel for your personalities. It's another side of you. I kind of guess this is what this is all about.
That was a very accurate depiction, actually. That was a good impression of exactly what we do. I mean, it like Gav said, it's a bit more of showing the depth of our characters and the personalities behind the strongmen kind of thing. Because you almost have 2 different personalities. You have the person who goes and competes, and the athlete version of yourself, and then you got yourself behind the camera. I think we're all pretty funny. We have some good banter. Well,
some.
Yeah. And when you stick a camera in front of our face as well, that's when we kind of come alive, And for some people, that's not the case, and that's fine. That's just who they are. But for us, I think that is the case, and it's going to make for some very good viewing.
Is it different challenges then, having every different show?
Yeah, well, we don't know what they are, but we know they're coming. So if you get given an envelope with some very vague instruction of where you're heading and what you're doing, you got to try and work it out. But we've tried, and they just throw you off the scent.
I mean, you could kind of see the variety already. Like we had, you saw us lifting church pews, picking up ukuleles. We're on a mobility scooter, and then there was some baking going on as well. So.
Is there anything you wouldn't fancy doing, Paddy? Is there anything you've said?
Basically everything we did in episode 2. No, no. I'm sort of up for a challenge. I'm probably the most competitive person here, to be honest. But usually in stuff that I'm good at. When it's something I know I'm terrible at, I just, it just becomes such a laugh.
Just mentally check out a bit.
Honestly, I just want to see where this thing goes, and
giant problems could be the next big thing. I think
there are certain things we can't do though due to weight limits, so you do have to sort of plan activities.
Bungee jumping is not in.
Yeah, you're not going to see us at Thorpe Park anytime soon. I don't think.
Half of episode 1 being that we're trying to blend into Retired Lives. I think you saw in there we're whipping around in like mobility scooters.
Yeah.
Gav had to have a special one, didn't you? For fat people, basically.
Yeah, the extra large. And
it was so slow.
It didn't go very fast.
Can we just use the word plump?
But you're not its intended user.
Okay, yeah. It was very slow.
For girthy men.
So how did you all get into this? I mean,
I was going to ask that. What's that? I mean, because there could be some people out there maybe sort of weightlifting and doing stuff, and they watch strongman shows and they see and they think, how'd you get onto that circuit? Are your stories similar? Look quite dead. Did you all get onto the?
They're all extremely different.
Okay.
Yeah, very different. I can tell you that. I mean, mine's probably the least boring of these guys. I was already the most boring.
I was going to say absolutely not.
No, the most boring. I was already doing some strength training. I was obviously a lot smaller, just doing something called powerlifting, which is only 3 lifts, and then just made my way into strongman after a friend suggested it, basically, and worked my way up through the levels, and then obviously here we are at sort of pro level, world's strongest man level. And that's how it went, just standard for me. I'm a strength coach in my day job as well, so it all kind of blends into one really nicely in terms of my sort of weekly schedule. So.
And yours is less boring than that, Paddy?
I was a pretty decent long distance runner. So I've ran 7 or 8 marathons. I've run a double marathon.
You're now double the weight you were when you were running.
I was about 68 kilos when I was 18.
Quite literally, he just recently doubled his weight from when he was marathon running.
Eat an 18-year-old.
Can you still run though?
Just about. I did a.
Probably the sharpest strongman on the scene. But agility and speed. It's a massive compliment. Going against Paddy and being 140 and seeing 140 kilos is heavy in a lot of sports, but in strongman you kind of consider lighter. But Paddy's one of the strongest men on earth at that weight, and it's terrifying because I've gone against him, think I can move as a big guy, and you go against Paddy, and he can seriously, and he's got that. With that pedigree, just it's insane.
He's kept the athleticism, and I think
massively.
Guys, this is lovely. We should do this more often.
We need to ask some harsher questions.
We're nearly out of time, guys. What about you, Gavin? What was your route into?
Yeah, I was in the Welsh Guards for 13 years, a few operational tours, always loved lifting weights. Box for a bit, Martin Ford, I'm going to knock you out. And
yes, he is.
Martin Ford wants to fight me after this, Posh, quick plug there, bash.
Well, Eddie Hall's gone into the world of boxing, hasn't he?
Yeah, legitimately, Martin Ford wants to fight me, so wherever he is, Martin Ford, I'm going to spark you out. Yeah, I did a bit of boxing. I've always wanted to be the world's strongest man. I grew up watching like Jeff Capes, Gary Taylor, Gary Taylor's, all these great guys, and Terry Hollands, Eddie Hall, and then I just started I literally did the same as Paddy. I left the army at 100 kilos. And in the space of 12 months, I doubled my weight and became 200 kilos.
Gav was the heaviest ever athlete,
world's strongest man. 215 kilograms. Not a great thing because
it was a big boy.
It whooped my butt. But yeah, like I had a heart attack a couple of years ago. Things got recovered from that, and a lean 174 kilograms.
About 40 kilos.
Slender.
Guys, it's good. It's been lovely to see you. So, Giant Problems, it's on YouTube. I watched the trailer for the first one. So, when is the first one up? Yeah,
tomorrow. Tomorrow.
First episode's up tomorrow.
Yeah, don't want to miss it, guys.
Tomorrow, on Instagram, Giant Problems TV, and on YouTube, it's Giant Problems.
Yeah, TikTok, you can find excerpts of it on Instagram and say watch it all. How long are the little shows? How long are they?
They vary. The first one was a bit of a special, so it's about half an hour, a bit of a bigger project, and then the other episodes anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes usually. Yeah.
We're versatile. We can do whatever length people want to watch.
Depends how much
fellas, thank you for coming in. We do appreciate it, and best of luck with it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Go and check it out, Giant Problems on YouTube. Still to come, Chris Wokes joining us for a chat very, very shortly after the news headlines.
Max Dowman could be like having a new player. Because surely this has to be
how many players playing this side, by the way?
Yeah.
Tell me how many players are out there on that side where Dowman was playing on the right a lot of the time. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they are just stacked, caked out wide.
Do you back Dowman to have... I mean, I think it was his breakthrough season last season, but he was in and out.
Breakthrough.
Yeah, I know, it's absolutely mad. But do you think that this could be a season where he's regularly starting and making a regular difference?
I think he's a special talent. I think he's at the right club. I think Arteta will... they'll have a lot of games this year, and they've obviously, Champions League as usual. You'll see him more this season than last season. That kid is a star in the making, and he looks like he's made of the right stuff, and he's very exciting every time you watch him. So when you see players like him in Rio at Liverpool, the future's very bright for the English national team, right?
Without a doubt. I think that come January, Arsenal fans might be looking back at the Vinicius Junior story and thinking... we didn't need him because look at what Max Dowman's doing in the Premier League. And I'm not comparing him to Vinicius Junior before people shoot me down. What I'm saying is that in Max Dowman, you have the potential of a world-class talent. And if you continue to nurture him and release the handbrake on the minutes and on the game time, and I know you're protecting him as a young player, but if you do want to play a slightly more attacking, entertaining brand of football, then Max Dowman is the man to hang your hat on because he's something special.
No, I love the look of him, but let's not kill the kid either and put too much on him at 15, 16. But they're stacked. I mean, I know everyone's worried about the left side, Martinelli, obviously Trossard's now gone and all those things, but I still look across their forward line and go, Arsenal could win the league again with what they've got.
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, But have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure. However, Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Betfair. Everyone's got an opinion. Back yours at Betfair. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
It's time now to get on the latest odds from James Mackey and our new friends and official betting partner at Betfair. Hi, James.
How are we doing, guys? All right?
Yeah, not so bad. We're just chatting off air, off the back of what Sinead was saying about Miles Lewis Skelly. Neither of us quite get it. We're going to talk transfer odds. Maybe we should start there. I mean, it's an odd one, isn't it? I mean, he started in midfield in the Champions League. He's a versatile player, can play at fullback or midfield. Wasn't it our own Perry Grove saying he's heard a whisper that Bradley Barker wants to live in London? He thinks Arsenal can get it done. That won't be a cheap deal. So maybe they're just trying
the money for that.
Trying to free up some money from a FFP point of view.
Yeah, I really don't understand it either, to be honest. When I saw the news come through today that obviously Miles Lewis Skelly has been offered to multiple Premier League clubs. Looking at the market, Man United are the 11-10 favourites, with Chelsea second favourites of 15-8, and then you go down a bit, Newcastle 3-1, Bournemouth 9-2, and Liverpool 5-1. I think United and Chelsea are the clubs that are being named that he could be potentially offered to. But I'm with you guys that I find it quite strange. I think obviously he signed a new deal for Arsenal last year. Play left back and play in the midfield. And I thought he was brilliant when he actually played last season. So I think he'd be a great addition to any side he goes to. But Man United currently, with the odds on the Betfair Sports, the favourites at 11-10 to sign him if he does leave Arsenal this transfer window.
I can't see him going to Chelsea. I mean, it's not their priority. They need to sell a lot of players. Unless they sell Fernandes, I don't think they'll be strengthening midfield.
United kind of makes sense.
Yeah, United makes more sense. Really.
Jack Grealish is also someone we're going to look at odds-wise. I mean, where are we at with him?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because if he can get back to what we know and we've seen him do in the Premier League, he'd be an asset for any club, really. It looks like the City might not stay at City, and Everton, obviously having been there already, he's 4 to 5 favourites, Everton, to sign him in the transfer window, with a move back to Aston Villa, 4-1 second favourites. Interestingly, we have seen English players go over to Spain. Atletico Madrid are 9-2 in the market if you wanted a trip over to Spain, and then Newcastle, they're in pretty much every market because they need to sign some players, don't they? And they're 7-1, with Spurs 8-1, but 4 to 5 odds on Everton for him to go back to that club where he actually proved he did really well, didn't he?
Rashford, what about him?
Yeah, look, the saga has been going all the way through even the World Cup, and now the World Cup's finished as we lead up into the Premier League season, and he's now 3-10 on to stay at Manchester United next season and see if Carrick can get the best out of him. There obviously were links, weren't they, for him to go over to Turkey, with Fenerbahce 9-2 in the market, and move back to Villa 5-1. Spurs, I know they've made a lot of signings, but he's 13-2 to go to Spurs, and maybe the unthinkable at Arsenal at 10-1 with Bayern Munich bigger at 14-1. But odds on to stay and prove himself at Manchester United on the Betfair Sportsbook at 3-10.
It looks like Tottenham will let Jed Spence go. Inter seem to be the favourites. I've heard Everton mentioned. So what are you feeling from a bookie's point of view?
Yeah, really interesting actually, Paul, today that the price we had on Inter Milan was around 9-4. There were as big as 7-1 at one stage for Jed Spence to head over to Italy and play for Inter Milan next season. But we've actually suspended the market at the moment for Inter Milan. They're currently, obviously, the negotiations might be in place. I'm not sure. Obviously, we don't know if the clubs are speaking, but we did suspend the price of 9-4 on Jed Spence. But interestingly, he was 4-7 to stay at Spurs, and that's now out to even money. So you see one price go and you see the other price slightly drift. Liverpool were linked as well with Jed Spence off the back of obviously having a brilliant World Cup, and he's now 6-4 from 13-8 to go to Liverpool. So really interesting to see what happens with Jed Spence during the last few weeks of the transfer window, but we're currently suspended on Inter Milan.
Somebody knows something, as they say. Enzo Fernandez, City are in the mix, Andy, you were telling me earlier on.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, he's just got back today, so it will become clearer, I think, after that.
So who are the favourites to land him?
Well, the favourites currently are actually to stay at Chelsea at 17-20 odds on. But as you say, Man City, they're 6-4. It looks like Rodri will either go to Real Madrid or Barcelona. If he does leave, that would mean a space then for Enzo Fernandez to come in at Manchester City, work with Maresca already. So 6-4 currently the price, and that would be a market I'd be watching just as the days and weeks go on to see if the odds flip between Chelsea odds on and Man City 6-4. But Real Madrid are in there at 100-30 if they want to go and scoop Enzo Fernandez, whether Rodri goes to Barcelona, and he could then be an option for Jose Mourinho's team. But currently odds on to stay at Chelsea 17-20 Enzo Fernandez.
Madrid won't play what City pay.
That's very true. James, thank you as always. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
There we are, James Mackey from Betfair there. For all the latest offers, go to betfair.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Betfair. Everyone's got an opinion. Back yours at Betfair. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Andy was telling us a story watching the relay. Every time he watches a relay race, it takes him back to school where he was the third leg and forgot to get his tracksuit bottoms off in time when the baton was handed over. You still had one leg in your tracky bottoms. Did you attempt to run around with them around your ankles, or just one leg on?
No, I think I had both legs. I think I attempted to move. I can't remember if I fell over.
I'd like to mentally picture that you did.
I blanked it out after the sort of embarrassment.
Chris in Wrexham says he gets hot flush when he thinks back to his school embarrassments. I was in high school and a substitute teacher decided that we were doing gym and not rugby, even though we had our rugby kits on. He made us do gym in our underwear. Not content with that, he decided to march us out of school, up the main road in our underwear, and lined us up along the grass at the edge of the road and made us stand there for 25 minutes so that all of the cars would see how stupid we looked, and we'd never forget our kit again.
I don't think you can teach like that now.
Different times, Chris, really. I'm 42 now, and I'll never forget it. I mean, we also asked why there wasn't a great turnout last night at the Alexander Stadium for the European Athletics Championships in Birmingham. Bit of a sparse crowd, and there's been various reports about pricing. One of the listeners says, I was going to take my grandson on Friday morning, but looked at the list of events over a 2-hour programme without any finals. It was £75 for me as an adult. It's a lot of money, isn't it?
It's a lot of money.
When I looked at the price of the food afterwards, I decided I would give it a miss. But it is a shame. As I said, later in the week, apparently it's sold out. But when you're watching on the box, it is a shame a big event like that with all the top athletes in Europe. It's a sort of half-empty house,
Definitely.
really.
I think I've caught Brian Linford out today.
Oh, your serial letter right to the Star? Yeah.
I think he's written 2. And one of them signed Anon. But it's so in his style that it can't be anybody else.
Well, I think, let's be honest, most people don't care. It's really only you that it would bother, isn't it?
I know, but the thing is, this is...
What's the better letter, Anon or Brian's one?
Anon is better. Brian's one's quite an ordinary one about Gianni Infantino.
Do you just want to give us Anon's letter?
I'll give you Anon's.
It's not a nun. They just spelt it wrong.
You can tell because it's got no punctuation in it and the typical capitals. So.
Right, okay. It's got his hallmark.
It's got its hallmark. Commendably, Brooklyn Beckham says, I'm lucky you and my wife always protecting you on their anniversary. And Nicola Peltz Beckham says, you are the most amazing husband I could ever dream of. 2022, they wed Palm Beach, renewing vows. New York 2025, Besotted takes some fighting. Live and let live. It's him, isn't it?
Don't you think it could be AI? It's got an AI feel to it. Maybe Brian.
You ask AI to do a letter in the style of Brian Limford. That's not a bad idea.
Well, why don't you do that? I mean, except nobody apart from you knows who Brian Limford is.
I
of
bet AI
Pontefract.
knows who Brian Limford is.
Okay, well, why don't you? We'll try that a little bit later on. I have the wherewithal, Andy. Let me do that during the travel.
Okay, I've got to do a quick. Oh,
go on then. A quick what?
Very quick column fodder. This is the woman who writes the column that I can't believe she gets paid for it.
Yep.
This one's brilliant. I'm a convert to cheeky Nando's. She's just discovered Nando's.
Oh yeah, well done.
I don't count myself as a grandmother, but I am a step-grandmother, and as a result, took my first trip to Nando's last week.
Blimey. First?
Yeah.
Okay.
I admit I was apprehensive. I had imagined Nando's...
Why are you apprehensive?
I don't know. I'd imagined that Nando's would...
They don't have live snakes patrolling the ground there, do they? It's ridiculous.
I imagined that Nando's would be...
The Nando's lion. Apprehensive. You're eating chicken. What's wrong with you? You're eating chicken.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
No.
I'd imagined that Nando's would be disgusting.
Oh, no.
I know. How wrong I was.
Yeah, good.
I'm a total convert.
Yeah.
My chicken peri-peri and tomato salad were delicious.
Yeah.
And the staff delightful.
Right. There's somebody looking for a black card. You've got no chance.
And I've discovered there's one down the road. She's definitely going to go in there.
Yeah. I wrote about you last week. Any chance of some free peas?
Absolutely.
Anyway, Chris Wokes, former England all-rounder, joining us for a chat in a few moments' time. We're here, as always, with our very good friends at Tool Station. First stop for everything for the job from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Start strong. Start it right. First stop, Tool Station.
Going on, mate? You got Champions League football. You're selling your best players. Absolute shambles.
The financial fair play rule.
Oh,
Spurs
off. You're not Spurs.
Can we put some concerts in your stadium?
Well, look, you dig me out all the time last season about Spurs and Beyonce this and Beyonce that.
Now it's helped you?
Yeah, mate, we got the money. We got the cash.
Yeah.
Don't make me laugh. You're selling Morgan Rogers.
We got no choice.
70 mil.
We got no choice.
You got Champions League football.
What can you do, though, if the rules say you have to sell? Do you know what I mean? You have to sell.
You should be banned from the Champions League.
Okay, but
you should be banned.
Okay.
You sold Tillmans. You sold Morgan Rogers. Constance wants to leave. You can't sell your three best players and then expect to be in the Champions League. You should be kicked out.
We signed some very good players as well. Manzambi from what's funny? Manzambi, star, Swiss international at 20 years of age.
Yeah.
We've signed João Gomes from Wolves. Scored a fantastic goal the other night against Bayern Munich. He toe-poked it, Jamie, into the corner. It was fantastic.
Come on, mate.
Garnacho as well, point to prove.
Oh, do me a favour.
So, we'll be all right. We'll be all right, man.
Garnacho.
Well, we've got the best manager in the league.
No, I love Emery. But if you ain't careful, he'll leave.
Really?
Yeah, he'll leave.
Why?
Because he wants to win.
We won last season.
Yeah, I know, but then you've sold your best players.
He'll understand the frustrating rules.
Mate,
he's got owners.
Eventually, he'll go, what like Eddie Howe's done with Newcastle, we go, no, I've had enough.
Isn't that what you want? And you're like your mob and like this so-called top six they call. You want that, don't
big
you?
Six.
You don't want
top six, big six.
But you don't want Villa and Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? Being a bit of a pain, do you? You want like you can't.
Oh yeah, keep you there. Keep you there.
Yes, it is Hawksbee and Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Time to talk a bit of cricket now. And 100, of course, in full swing. Sponsored by the good people at KP and their various brands. They're also involved in the ECB's Cricket Cities programme through their new Everyone In Fund, getting people out there and getting fit and getting involved in sport. And here to tell us a bit more about that is the former England all-rounder, Warwickshire and Welsh Fire in 100. It's Chris Wokes. Hello, Chris.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, we're good. We're good, thank you. So this is trying to get everybody active, hopefully playing a bit of cricket, and KP are right behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's trying to break down or remove barriers. We know cricket can be a quite expensive sport at times, and trying to lower the costs, use less equipment. And as you said there, the KP are driving that with this new Everyone In Fund, along with the ECB and the Cricket Cities programme. So it's nice that they've joined together and try and get some more young people, particularly kids, playing the sport.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Because, I mean, we occasionally see these little sort of tape ball tournaments that kind of ease people into the sport. I think when people do try
chance to shine, do a lot.
Yeah, when they play cricket, they realise it's a good sport to play. It's just getting that opportunity sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Opportunity is one thing, and then obviously also, like as you said, just getting people to actually try the sport. I think every sport tries to do something similar, don't they? In terms of trying to get kids to play the sport originally and realise a passion, realise a love for the game. That's where I started, in the back garden, and had that not been the case, I would never have probably played the game. So, in particular, trying to get into this Cricket Cities programme with the ECB is working in urban areas where obviously there's less grass to be played on, so to speak. So trying to get people playing it within cities as well.
I'd see more coaching in state schools too. Sometimes you walk past and you see them playing with blue plastic bats and they're not really playing properly, and they're not really bowling properly, and no one's really telling them. You do need some instruction.
Bit of structure.
You do,
No,
I think. But
that's a very good point. So how are you enjoying the 100 at the moment, Chris?
Yeah, it's been great fun. Lads. Really enjoyable tournament. We've gone relatively well, but the nature of the beast in this tournament is that you've got to be pretty good to qualify. So we're unfortunately relying on a couple of results, and we need to win our last game tomorrow to try and make it through to the final playoffs and the eliminator and final. So still fingers crossed that we can get through, but we need the gods to be looking down on us a little bit.
You're going to be playing
MI London to lose, don't you, and you to win.
That's right. Yes, the way it's shaking.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And you're going to be out there playing while Villa are playing in the Super Cup, aren't you?
Yeah. It's I'm going to probably be watching that game with my eyes closed. I think PSG could give us a right walloping.
No, it's very early in the season.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
It's been enjoyable. I watched a brilliant game the other night at Lord's and MI London and Spirit, and it was packed. Not every ground has been like this, but it was packed, and there was a lot of momentum shifts, which is often a criticism of white ball short format cricket, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And I think, as you say, those London derbies are supposedly getting better numbers now. As you said, the ground was full, and I think obviously with this being played in the summer holidays, you're always going to get relatively good crowds, but obviously with the investment as well last year and teams changing a little bit, it's probably taken a little bit more time for people to get involved with the tournament. But as you said, that game the other night was a great one. It went close as well, which is always good for the competition.
As well.
Yeah, well, it would be.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
it was.
A little bit needles good for the game.
It was good stuff.
Well, if we strip it down, it's Surrey versus Middlesex. It's always narky. Joe Root, of course, you're playing with. It's all happening for Joe. He's got the captaincy back. We were talking to Harmy the other day, of course, one of our pundits here on talkSPORT, Steve Harmison, and he feels Joe's in a very different place this time around. How do you sense he's feeling about it, going back into the big job?
Yeah, I mean, I actually genuinely think he's excited for it. He's obviously taking it on. I mean, not many people get the opportunity to come back and do it again when they've experienced it all. Obviously been there, done it, kind of got the T-shirt, so to speak. And there'll be things that he probably wished he could have changed during his time. And now I suppose he's got an opportunity to kind of put a few things right. I mean, he did pretty well last time round, and I think eventually the job it does catch up with you a little bit. But obviously, he's had a bit of time out from that side of things. Still playing great cricket. He's still churning millions of runs out, which is great to see. And I think he's in a very different place to last time. And I'm hoping he's going to enjoy it, but also hopefully do a good job, which I'm sure he will.
The new Test coach, Stephen Fleming, you've probably come up against him as a coach. You've probably come up against him as a player, but come up against him as a coach in the IPL in the past, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've come across Stephen a few times. He's very well respected around the circuit, both as a player back in the day, and then more recently as a coach. He's won IPLs, and he's got a hell of a lot of respect from a lot of players around the world, and I'm sure you'll have that from the dressing room as well. Also, the fact that him and Baz McCullum are kind of friends, and the fact that they're kind of sharing the role as well to a certain extent, obviously with the white ball team and the red ball team. I think that could work well as well from a selection point of view. So, I don't think it'll be a huge change, but I think a bit of refinement is probably the way to put it.
Yeah, a lot of eyes on this Pakistan series coming up, I think, because of everything that's gone on in the last few months. So it's going to be interesting to see how the boys do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think naturally, as an England cricketer, when you play games of cricket for England, especially at home, you're expected to win. So England will be expected to win, no doubt. Pakistan, you can't take them lightly. They can turn it with a bit of genius, and then on occasions they can also feel like they're not quite at it. So you can't give them a sniff at all. So England will have to start well against Pakistan, but I'd like to think that England will be too strong as long as they get off on the right foot.
I was reading today, Moeen Ali saying he's looking to build on his coaching experience so far. I mean, Moeen's a good mate of yours and a teammate over the years. Do you see him? Who knows? Potentially a future England coach.
Yeah, I'd 100% say that. He certainly wants to be a coach, which is obviously the first and foremost. You want guys that are desperate to coach and have a passion for it. And Mo will be definitely one of those people. He's always been a leader within the group. He's got a great cricket brain. He speaks well within the team. As I said before, well respected. And I think if that's what he wants to do, I believe he'll be very good further down the line. I know he's still playing some franchise cricket, so he's probably got a few more years maybe of that. But further down the line, I could definitely see him being involved with the England setup as a coach.
Is it hard bowling in the 100 and T20 compared to Test matches? It's so difficult for bowling. The batters today, even if they miss it, it goes for six.
It's not much fun. It's not much fun at times. There's times when when you get the chance to either swing the ball or the pitch is offering you a little bit as a bowler, you really need to make the most of it, because most of the wickets are pretty flat, good for batting. And the bugbear of mine is that the boundaries keep coming in. They keep getting smaller and smaller. And as you say, with batters nowadays, their quality of bats and the quality of striking it's hard to keep the ball in play. But it's a challenge. It's tough, but you keep working hard to try and come up with ways to try and combat it.
Your biography's out later this year, isn't it? The Wizard, I see, October.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. I'm releasing a book. He obviously retired from international cricket roughly this sort of time last year, and it was nice. It's been a nice little process of getting some stuff on paper and also just reflecting. As a professional cricketer, or a professional sports person, you're always thinking about what's next. And it's been nice to look back on some great memories across my career, but also some tough moments as well. But good to get them down on paper.
Well, hopefully we'll chat to you later in the year. You can pop in and see us and we'll have a chat about it.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Nice.
We'd love to. Thanks
Chris.
so much.
All the best.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much.
Chris Wokes, former England all-rounder, currently at Welsh Fire and, of course, Warwickshire.
He's right. I remember this time last year, that fabulous game that finished off on the Monday morning, and he had to come in with a broken arm.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Well, that would be interesting to see what he's got to say in the book about that. Yeah. It was one of the images of the summer, wasn't it? I think, was it Wisden Cup?
No, it was England-India.
No, I remember Wisden did a big piece on it, didn't he? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, after 3, we've had a lot of guests in the 20+ years we've been doing this, but I don't think we've had a guest with such an eclectic CV. It's Bonnie Jill Laughlin, and you will not believe what her career has encompassed. Most recently, as a ambassador for the National League Northside Radcliffe FC, which is kind of slightly out of kilter with everything else she's done. But we look forward to chatting to Bonnie after the news headlines at 3.
I totally got going for Vinny Jr., but I don't get going for just another one. And
not Barkler. There's lots of reports that
I don't see Barkler at the sort of levels that others do. Clearly,
145 million.
I don't see
having
him
a laugh.
I don't see him at anything like that sort of money. I really don't. I think he is way behind Kvaratskhelia and Desiree Doué. Personally, I think they're far better players. I don't think he's got the end product in his game to warrant 140 odd million quid. No chance. And I don't think I'd swap Martinelli for him. I think I would.
For Barkler?
No, I'm honestly, because I think Martinelli knows this division, has proven himself now to be a valuable member of Arsenal's team, and I don't see that it's that much of a massive trade up for the sort of money that they'd need to invest in him.
Yeah, I mean, I have to disagree with you there, Andy. I think Martinelli, for me, I've just run out of a little bit of patience with him. 1 goal last year in the Premier League. He was good in the Champions League, but this has been an area that Arsenal have struggled with for a number of seasons, and I think it will be really, really disappointing for Arsenal not to address it in a bigger way than they've done already. Solis has shown some really good signs in pre-season. I'm putting my eggs in the Barkler basket, but maybe I'm just
not going to pay 145 million pounds for him. They're just not.
I don't.
You know, if that's what, and okay, there'd be some negotiation available there, but seriously.
We're going to hear from Matthias Eisel a little bit later on, get some reaction. He's just giving his first press conference as the Newcastle manager. That's all coming in the final hour, but first, Will Hobbs has the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update with NordVPN. Encrypt your internet connection and protect your devices from malware and hackers with our most advanced VPN.
Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon. He played a key role in the business end of last season, but following the Bruno deal, we understand Arsenal are offering Miles Lewis-Skelly to other clubs. Peterborough owner and Liverpool fan Dara McAntony says he'd love to see Lewis-Skelly at Anfield, but is saddened by the situation.
I don't want to see the best clubs losing their young talent. You know, I've got a Tier 2 academy. Nothing fills me more pride than seeing 3-4 of my teenagers playing in our team and our squad. So when I see that at clubs, it's not right. It's not right for me.
Former Liverpool defender Gary McAllister has told us why he's optimistic about Liverpool and how they're shaping up, despite back-to-back pre-season defeats and Andoni Iraola raising concerns about their fitness.
It looked as if they were getting the ball forward a bit quicker. There was more speed in the attack. It wasn't a slow build-up. And hence, I felt in the first half an hour of the game, before Liverpool started making a few changes, Isak and Florian Wirtz looked sharp.
Cher Charles, meanwhile, has completed a £30 million move to Fulham from Southampton. Forest have signed centre-back Ousmane Diomande from Sporting. Calvin Phillips looks set to go back on loan to Sheffield United. And the chair of Sussex Cricket Club, Ed Warner, has told talkSPORT the 100 is actually costing them money in what should be the height of the season.
We've got the Metro One Day Cup, but it's not quite the same as the T20 Blast, which has been pushed to earlier in the season. So right now, on many days, our ground is empty, unused, and we'd like to have more cricket there at the height of summer, particularly when the summer's as good as this one.
And speaking of the summer, thanks to the drought, a golfer from Worcestershire has landed what is thought to be the longest hole-in-one ever registered in England and possibly Europe. 32-year-old Matt Viggers hit a 411-yard drive into the hole at Great Bar Golf Club in Sandwell near Birmingham. There has never been one longer on the PGA Tour or the DP World Tour.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister says he doesn't want to see a single prisoner released early and a warning not to dig out your old solar eclipse viewing glasses. Find out more with Sinead in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Keep summer journeys safe. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com to book your tyres, MOTs and servicing so you can drive away happy every time.
It continues to be a dry and sunny day for most of us with light winds, cloudier in the northwest with the odd outbreak of rain.
with FA Community Shield.
Arsenal versus Manchester City.
Sunday afternoon from 1:30 live on talkSPORT.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave. Cheese and onion, salt and vinegar, honey and mustard.
Salty and shaky, flavoursome lunchtime radio. Still crispy after all these years.
The all-enduring Hawksbee Jacobs on talkSPORT.
Good afternoon, it is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're looking at all the big stories in the transfer market, getting the latest on that Miles Lewis Skelly story from Ben Jacobs. Later on, hearing from Matthias Geisler, the new Newcastle manager.
He's very smooth, isn't he? He's David Cameron smooth.
He's very well turned out, isn't he? Yeah, that's it. He should have a cravat on looking at him there. But we will hear and get some reaction from a Newcastle fan as well to his first press conference. But as I said just before, the news headlines. In all the years we've been doing this, we have never had a guest with as eclectic and impressive a CV as this. Bonnie Jill Lefflin was a cheerleader in the NBA and the NFL. She became an NBA scout. She's a sports reporter. She's an actress. She's a model. And she is currently an ambassador for Radcliffe FC in the National League North, which is a bit of an outlier, I think it's fair to say. Bonnie Jill, good to see you. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you both for having me, Paul and Andy. I appreciate it.
Wow. I mean, what a story. I mean, I don't even know where to start in the sort of 10 minutes we've got to chat. But
I'm fascinated how you become a scout, which is such a key position in a professional sports team, from cheerleading. How did that come about?
Well, I didn't just drop the palms and go right into scouting.
Obviously not.
But I had to cover the team as a sports presenter and doing pre and post game. And Phil Jackson knew that I could break down the triangle offense, which some of his players couldn't even run. So I would talk to him about the triangle, and he knew I, kind of had a grasp of what he liked when it came to players, big guards, high basketball IQ, and so forth. And so I went on for 1 year. They signed me to a 5-year deal, another 5-year deal, and then I ended up being also the assistant GM for our developmental league as well.
Wow. That was at the Lakers, was it?
Yes.
Wow,
the Lakers.
that's amazing.
So was that the time of Kobe?
Yes, Kobe was a very dear friend of mine. Shaquille ended up winning 5 championships with those teams, and it was a phenomenal run.
Yeah. So making that transition from you said it was working in TV that allowed you to have that sort of exposure. There would obviously be an issue around people taking you seriously enough to making that transition. Was that a problem?
Oh, huge problem. People earning their respect and credibility, especially as a female and the only female to do it. So it was more of, oh, is she scouting cheerleaders? No, there's no scouts. There's no scouts in cheerleading. But just, and then once I started talking ball, they were like, oh, but it was trying to get past that for them to first even take away what I had done before from, cheerleading, the modeling and so forth, to take me seriously. Once I'm in the room and I was able to talk to the boys club, I was able to then earn their respect, but it took a while. There was a lot of nights where I was crying saying, I don't want to do this anymore, but then I'm very resilient and I won't give up. And so if someone tells me you can't do it, I'll prove you wrong.
Wow. You were in Baywatch, we understand.
Yes, a long time ago, yes. My acting skills running slowly on the beach,
Wow. I mean, what's left to do? Apart from, we'll come on to Radcliffe in a minute, but there are other things you've still got ambitions to do other stuff. You've achieved so much.
I would like to own a team.
Right. Okay.
Yes. So the owner of Radcliffe, Marcus McCabe, we're talking about how maybe we can do some business together in the States as well as here.
So you're linked to Radcliffe. Tell us, because I saw you were at the game at the weekend. You're on the pitch, and you were chatting to their sort of in-house channel. So what's the connection?
So I'm an ambassador, and so my friend Tim Clun, he had brought over the DOC over, and I just was like, "What are you doing over there?" And I loved how intense it is there, and how the community and how it's different, a family feel, and so being able to come over and see the pitch is gorgeous, beautiful, and just be able to see the camaraderie of these fans and the players behind it. And I like seeing players who can develop and where they go to after this. And so for me, it was fascinating, and I like that family atmosphere and how everyone knows everyone. And sports brings people together.
Yeah.
Football brings people together, and so it's a common interest there. there, and I just fell in love with it.
At that level, it reminds me of when I've gone to see minor league baseball in the States. I did a little bit of a tour down south and went and watched games in Birmingham and stuff like that. And it's got that feeling on league football. It does feel like the community comes out, the town comes out to watch the local team.
Exactly, and it's almost like with the NFL, like the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers, it's a team that's owned by the fans. So it's the same feel. They feel invested in this team, and they want them to get promoted. And it's great just to see that everyone is rooting so hard for this team. And I know you're a Chelsea fan, correct?
I am, yeah.
So Frank St. Clair is one of the scouts over there for Radcliffe as well.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you're going to be coming over again to what you're going to keep an eye on their results, I guess. You'll be seeing how they're getting on as a team.
Yes, I'm going to be there constantly. I'm going to try to come back at least every other month and just keep promoting it. And the fans in America now are, really captivated by Radcliffe and embracing as this, as the team over there in the States.
So when you say you like to own a team, you like to own a basketball team?
No, I would like to own a football team.
Oh, okay.
It's a global sport. And after coming off the World Cup, you just saw how Americans really, I don't know how much you saw.
So when you say football team,
that people were,
let's call it soccer for the sake of it. So you mean a soccer team?
I'm trying to be respectful.
Oh,
yes.
that's good.
But yeah, soccer in the States, it wasn't something, that people grew up with, right? And now after the World Cup and MLS having a lot of success, obviously when Beckham came over to play for the Galaxy, it was just, everyone's just, enamored by the sport, and now seeing how much we loved World Cup being in Dallas and San Francisco and New York and everywhere. And, we just loved having the fans there. And like I said, the crossover and how it unites everyone.
Well, it's also, the money that David Beckham pumped a lot of money into Miami, but he is making a lot of money back. It's really worked, hasn't it?
Yes, it's working well. And then, our stations there are playing it everywhere, our highlights. It's people have really started to connect with the sport, and like I said, they didn't grow up with it, but now they love the different players. They love the managers, and the fans are so fanatic. They make our fans look like some bums, And so it's really neat to see how much soccer's really been globally.
Oh, that's interesting. So we may see a bit of a tie-up between Radcliffe and a sort of a US franchise team.
Yes, absolutely. And, very
Radcliffe
fanatical fans.
The Radcliffe Yankees.
Lakers.
Yeah, the Radcliffe Lakers. Yeah, that might be.
And Marcus has really taken it to a different level, starting in 1949 and then be able to own the team for 10 seasons and take it to the next level. You can just see everything from the game entertainment to the players. It's, it's really hitting, the map of, people knowing who they are.
A couple of steps away now from the league proper. It's quite hard at that level to make that leap.
Yes, sir.
But you're obviously aware of Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds and what they've done with Wrexham.
Right.
So, it can be done with the kind of right investment, and so we'll see.
And the right owner, the right fans, and all of us. So we're excited about the future.
So we've not had a chance to talk about this because we've been so World Cup heavy, but LeBron going to the 76ers, I imagine has been a huge... Did you see that coming as an NBA watcher?
No, well, first, we thought he'd stay with the Lakers because he said he wanted to retire with the Lakers, especially with his son, Bronny, being there. And then we heard going back to his old stomping grounds, going to Cleveland, going back to Miami as well. I did not see that. Even the Warriors were in the mix for a while. So going over to the Sixers, LeBron, the way that he's playing, he's still playing at a phenomenal level. His body is just, when you see him in person, it's like he's like a machine, so be able to see he can still contribute, obviously. And it wasn't really working with the Lakers. I'll be honest, him and Luka don't have the best chemistry. I'll put it, put it there.
This happened very recently because I was watching a bit of Sky last week and they were playing the Summer Cup and he was still playing.
It was only about 4 weeks ago.
Like 3 weeks ago.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So it's funny, you got a lot of Laker fans now who are saying they're coming out of their coffins saying, I can be a Lakers fan again, because no one really, they didn't like LeBron as a Laker. They didn't appreciate him at all. Laker fans did not. They didn't want him to think he could replace a Magic, a Kobe, a Shaq, so they did not embrace LeBron at all, the Laker fans. There are some, but far and few between.
So are they excited in Philadelphia about this, or do they feel that, as you say, you think he's still playing well, do they feel like that as well?
I think when you first hear, that LeBron's coming, you're excited, and then sometimes I've noticed it wears off. The fans start to think that he's a diva or he's, has a reason for why they can't win, excuses. There's been told, that, I have an injury when he really didn't. All those things, I think, start to the flopping. People, they showed
diving.
They showed a statue of what his what it would look like in LA. It was him flopping.
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, I respect LeBron and what he does. I don't think he could have played in the 70s, 80s, even the 90s, the Bulls era with Michael Jordan. I think he's a unique player, but I'm not the biggest fan, I'll be honest.
It's funny you mentioned that, but I mean, two things that are really popular here: The Last Dance, and Winning Time.
Yes,
which about the sort of Jerry Buss Lakers.
Yes,
very interesting.
Jerry was he was like a second father to me, and so he was such a pioneer when it came to, from the Showtime days to the cheerleaders to the putting the band. He was very innovative in, what he wanted. And it's sad because I think now that the Lakers sold. So the Buss family only owns a minority ownership of it now.
Did you think, Jeannie Buss being there, his daughter, very front and centre, do you think that kind of helped in your transition? Was she very supportive as you, as a kind of woman in the sport?
Yes, sir. She was very, very, very supportive in regards to being another woman and having to trailblaze and everything I had to go through. She was on the business side, business ops, and I was on the basketball ops side. So it was difficult for me. I was make sure that people, respected me. I would wear my hair up in a baseball hat. I'd wear baggy sweats. I would try to walk like the guys, and they'd be like, why are you walking?
Not the red swimsuit.
Yeah, no, exactly. They would say, oh, no, not the red swimsuit. But, all the guys go, why is she walking and talking like that? I'm like, I need to be one of the boys. Yeah. Then I finally embraced who I am. And but no, not the red swimsuit or the DCC uniform.
Brilliant. Well, look, we'll keep an eye out for Radcliffe and see how they're doing. And do keep in touch. Tell us how you're getting on with that sort of US franchise of Radcliffe. But lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much
really
for having
interesting
me.
Story.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Bonnie Jill Laughlin now. Yeah, do keep an eye out for Radcliffe this season. Sounds like they're going places. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT with our good friends at Tool Station. Only got time for one stop. First stop, Tool Station. So far this season, you've got Jeremy Jacquet from Rennes.
Yep.
And then you've got Victor Munoz from Osasuna.
Yep.
Obviously, Araujo's on his way, Barcelona captain, high-profile signing.
Yep.
But it just feels to me that maybe because of this transition post-Klopp and the failed project last season under Arne Slot, not the season before, maybe Liverpool are in flux in terms of who they are right now in terms of identity and their playing identity.
No, I hear what you're saying. And look, it's the media's job to point these things out and come up with some kind of thesis on why Liverpool haven't won a title for 10 months. And I smile while I say that. But here's the reality. They're still the most successful club in England.
Yeah.
They're a world-known club. Everyone knows them. If they want someone and they can come up with the money, they can attract players. Somebody going to Real Madrid over Liverpool, I'm not losing sleep about. A French person going to Paris Saint-Germain because he's basically French and he's live near Paris. Again, that's not a club issue at Liverpool. We will make signings in this window. Areola will instill an identity. It'll be an identity that will be exciting for the fans to watch. I saw a lot of Bournemouth games last year. Any fans who haven't, go watch them.
Yeah.
They're young, they're quick, they're dynamic, they never stop pressing, they never give up. If he instills that at Liverpool, and it'll take a minute, it will be exciting. We might not be up there at the start challenging for a title, and it depends how far Arsenal or Man City get ahead. But don't write Liverpool off like that this season. Yes, we're a few pieces missing. We've got the defensive cover sorted now, apparently. We'd love a central midfielder. We'd love a right winger. We'd like a little bit more strength and depth through the squad. But I still think good things can happen this year. And pre-season games have no reflection on how our season's going to go.
Yep.
talkSPORT, traffic and travel with Subway. Check out our great range of saver subs, including the triple cheese.
Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Matthias Geisler has given his first press. He may still be giving his first press conference as the Newcastle boss, and we'll hear a little bit of that, some of the highlights, and get reaction from Newcastle podcaster Jack Cunningham a little bit later on, and we'll get some transfer news for you before we hand over to Jamie O'Hara and Rory Jennings. We'll drive at 4 o'clock. But the big story yesterday, big breaking story, was that Jeff Bezos of Amazon fame was looking to buy into Liverpool in a pretty sizable, a kind of sizable minority stake, if that makes sense. We thought we would get the thoughts on that of an old school, long-serving veteran. He's old. It's you get the idea. It's our old friend Tony Evans, broadcaster and journalist. Hi, Tony.
Oh, I thought you were going to say almost dead.
That's what I thought. No, you say that for me.
Yeah, it's just look, we're all much of a muchness. We're getting to that stage. But you know, I want sort of someone who's been there watching the team for a very long time. I mean, look, you know, it's a long way from the old days of the '60s and the way football clubs used to be owned. But this is another step on almost from FSG, isn't it? This is how do you feel about this and sort of impending investment?
Yeah, I suspect no goods will come of it. You know, it's, I think what's left. I mean, we've seen this summer, particularly, really clearly, the battle for football's soul. You know, Infantino trying to sell off the World Cup, but I think the real damage will come on the ground floor, really, on with the clubs when. You know, we're entering this period where I think we're going to see the complete erosion of fan culture. And I think, the commodification of football, this is a further step in it. You know, I mean, obviously, you can look at, Battier and say, well, he was a QPR, you know, he maybe understands the game. But people like Bezos, not interested at all in football. You know, he wasn't a boy or dread. You know, he wasn't.
One of the doomsday scenario that people often come up with, because there's more and more interest from American owners in football and buying into football clubs, is that you get enough of a critical mass for them to sit round and say, look, this doesn't make sense, this promotion and relegation. I mean, you know, in all of the sports that we also operate in, that we don't have that, because then it allows us to budget and it allows us. I've said before on the show, we spoke to Robert Kraft years and years ago on this show, and he'd been linked to buying Liverpool. And he said to us on the show, I would never buy into any sports franchise where there's promotion and relegation. So it's the kind of dream, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure they would sit here and say, oh no, it rides roughshod over the traditions of that sport, but it probably would be too tempting if you had the majority.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, you look at Fenway Sports Group. I mean, John Emery had a conversation with me where he was like, he doesn't understand why Liverpool should be playing the likes of Coventry because, well, I mean, it's irrelevant, and the Premier League's so tough, it stops you doing well in Europe. That's his theory. And obviously that's one of the concepts behind the European Super League. And it's interesting that Henry seems to have lost real interest. I mean, he was always semi-detached with Liverpool, but he's lost real interest in Anfield after the Super League project failed, because that's what they want. That's what they're looking for. I mean, the guy who owns Amazon isn't thinking, it's, the Merseyside derby, that's really getting my juices going. Thinking Liverpool against Real Madrid. He's thinking Liverpool against Barcelona. He's thinking, Amazon Prime, global reach, and the money piling in. Clearly they want to globalise the game, and they want to take not quite take the local element out of it, but almost, that it'll be the thing that matters least. They'll want, and it's coming. And a Super League, we will see that again pretty soon.
Yeah, you do feel that's definitely going to.
They've got to be really careful though, because they'll kill the thing that actually attracted to them in the first place. That's the problem, I think. But we'll see.
Yeah, I wonder though. I wonder because if you're getting so many global fans, we say the thing that attracts them is the atmosphere, Anfield, But I mean, are they going? Do they want a load of fellas singing on the cop, or do they want dynamic pricing on the cop?
Yeah,
and I think in the end it'll come down to that. And if you've got a worldwide audience who wants to buy in to this whole concept, how many of them really sort of mainline into that, that local element, that legacy fans they called it, didn't they? That legacy fan element. And I think they probably think that'll die off naturally. Like again, use that meathead.
No, but it is true. I mean, when you go to Chelsea, when you go to football, you don't see as many young people as you did when we were young going.
There isn't that churn. If you look at the sort of the season, this is why obviously the clubs have been looking to do away with senior concessions, because so many of the people who have season tickets are kind of over that or creeping towards it, and where they would rather have people coming in. But young sort of, a lot of young British fans can't afford it. Lots of tourists come in and pick up those tickets.
That kills the atmosphere.
It does. I mean, it's a kind of, as you said, there's so many things, so many red flags, isn't there, as you look at the sort of the future of football. It is worrying at times.
It is. And last year, I went to a game of Fulham, and they'd opened that new stand by the river. So I walked around the back to see that. I couldn't believe the number of foreign accents, and I thought this was, you expected it like Manchester United, at Liverpool, at Chelsea, but, at Fulham, you saw that. And I think we're seeing it right across the Premier League. And clearly, the game is in the midst of change. And you know what? It's old man shakes fist of clouds here. Every generation will enjoy the game on their terms and how it's evolved then, so, I mean, football will prevail. It's just that probably people like me will look at it and say, something special is being lost, that sense of community. And I think that for us was attracted us to the game. But I expect the target audience of the Jeff Bezoses of the world will never feel like we do.
Well, I'm sure we've cheered everybody up. And despite what I said at the top, you've got plenty of years left to go to Anfield. So, cheers, Tony. All the best. Thanks a lot.
Always a pleasure.
There we are. This journalist and author and Liverpool fan, obviously, Tony Evans. And Liverpool have always been a club with a big global fan base. And you'll get fans turning up from different parts of the world that are fully committed to the club. Those that probably know, that can recite teams from back in the 60s into the history, know the club. But by the same token, you probably see it. I do. You'll get people go up there and say, well, I'll go to a Liverpool match and I'll go and do the Beatles tour and I'll do this and I'll do that. And it's just part of a tourist experience. And that, if you get too much of that, that's what does kill the atmosphere.
It's never good for atmosphere because they never cheer these people. They don't.
I mean, after
they spend their whole time watching the game on their phone.
I know.
Trying to film corners. Things like that. Drives me mad.
There's a couple of fans in front of me who'd come clearly as tourists, and they watched virtually. They kind of filmed the show. Like they work for Sunset and Vine or something. They were like, virtually, and it was quite tempting while I was watching the match not to start just looking at their phones because they were just more or less filming the whole thing.
Pointless.
Nuts. Anyway, bit of Newcastle chat. Matthias Geisler has given his first press conference in the last half hour. We'll get some of the highlights of that for you and get Jack Cunningham, the Newcastle fan and podcaster, to react to what he heard, and we'll have some transfer news. That Miles Lewis Skelly story, I think, has come out of left field. More on that from Ben Jacobs, and then we'll hand over to Jamie O'Hara. Rory Jennings with Drive at 4.
Steve gets in touch with the United fans. He says, boys, with Rashford, we've been down this road so many times. We've sang his name, give him over 300 grand a week, backed him and watched him stink the gaff out week after week. Body language is such a huge part of football. It is. I can't sit in the Stretford end again and watch him sort of mope around and sulk on the pitch. He's worked hard for any club who'd take him on loan over his supposed boyhood club. We've been down this road too many times. Shake hands, get him out the door ASAP. Do you understand that sentiment from some Manchester United fans?
Totally. I totally get it. Yes, he's burnt his bridges there. I get all the reasons for it, and he's done himself no favours whatsoever. Like I said, the player had potential to be top. Really, it's time to buy him a giant mirror. It's like, look in the mirror, son. Barcelona didn't want to buy you for 30-odd million. That's a drop in the ocean for a club like Barcelona. Nobody in the Premier League allegedly wants you either. So I don't see any, I said recently maybe Tottenham should sign him, but they're obviously not getting the bids. So you're already at one of the biggest clubs in the world. Like, at some point, when does the penny drop? Because your next contract's not going to be 350 grand a week. The Saudi money looks like it's going away. I ain't sure Turkey, somewhere he's going to want to live. Yep. So where are you going after this? How old is he now? He's still, he's in his prime. So he's really got to figure this out and buckle down, or he's going to become a 31-year-old nobody, who basically his career is dried up and finished, in a few years' time. So really, maybe they're going to motivate Marcus Rashford. Maybe that will suit Man United. But I agree about the body language. I agree everything that happened before, and he ended up with a massive contract that they can't get out from under. So I don't think the people at United, the powers to be, will fall for that again.
Fancied having a beer in the stands while watching your team at the Emirates, or at Anfield, or at Stamford Bridge? Well, this season you actually can. Drinking alcohol in the stands at Premier League games may still be illegal, but the Women's Super League is doing something different, and here's how we got there. Back in the 1980s, football had a serious image problem. The sport was plagued by violence, pitch invasions and beer-fuelled chaos. Then, in 1985, Margaret Thatcher's government stepped in. They introduced the Sporting Events Control of Alcohol Act, banning alcohol in view of the pitch across England and Wales. Since then, many fans and clubs have called for the law to be relaxed. But despite attempts to change things over the years, authorities just haven't been convinced fans can be trusted. But in January 2025, something did change. The Women's Championship, now called the WSL2, launched a trial allowing fans to drink in the stands. The reasoning? Well, fans at women's matches tend to behave differently. Less aggression, more family-friendly vibes. As a result, select WSL and WSL2 stadiums are now allowing fans to drink alcohol in view of the pitch. It's been a landmark move showing growing trust in fans and recognising that women's football is building its own culture. So could the men's game be the next to leave the 1980s behind? Well, maybe, if fans can prove they can handle a pint without pitching it at someone. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Until then, it's Bovril all around. Cheers to that.
Hawksbee Jacobs with you through until 4. We got the transfer insiders tonight. Our old mate Ben Fletcher is in the chair alongside Arsenal supporting comedian, always very entertaining, Jacob Hawley. And Arsenal very much in the news transfer-wise today, with ins and outs. Certainly the Lewis Skelly story is an interesting one. So Fletcher and Jacob with you from 7. But we're going to talk Newcastle now. Matthias Jaisler, shall I say? Is it Jaisler? I'm doing an Alan. Jaisler has held his first press conference today and, amongst other things, talked about his aims for the club as a whole.
That we are ambitious. That's the most important thing, also why I decided to come here. But this will not happen overnight, especially when you have such a big transition phase now. Then you need to have a clear goal, a clear vision where we want to go to, and that starts from the decision makers up in front, from the management, from the board. And then again, what I said already, if you have that synergy with the fans, with the players, with the staff, everyone included, to go there, then again, I'm pretty sure it will be a successful story. But we need time now, and we can only do our best day by day, breaking it down with a goal long ahead. But we need to cut it down. What is the most important thing today? What is the most important thing tomorrow? And if we have that approach, I'm really optimistic that we're going in the right direction.
One thing you don't get in the Premier League is time.
No.
Apart from,
I mean,
he does talk a good game, and he's got a very good reputation.
Absolutely. This is his thoughts on the dressing room, and he provided an insight in how the club's approaching the transfer market.
Yeah, obviously, in that transition phase, the players who left the club, they were great characters, great players, experienced players. And this is now a vacuum, you call it, right, also in English. So, and then other players need to step in. Either you adjust something in the squad by signing these players, these profiles, or other players need to step up and refill these positions and these leadership roles. So I'm quite optimistic. You can work in both scenarios. My job is to do the best out of it. And again, without telling you now too much in the press conference, we are aware what we need in the squad. Everyone internally is aware of that, and we're working on solutions.
Let's get the thoughts then of a Newcastle fan, Jack Cunningham from Inside the Toon podcast here on talkSPORT. Hello, Jack.
Good afternoon. How are you doing, lads? Good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So what's your feelings then, having heard him talking about your team for the first time?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, he clearly made it very obvious that he wants some experience in the side. I think that was very clear from that second clip that you just played there, that he feels as if there's maybe a lack of experience in the team, which would explain why Newcastle made a move for Hawksbee, which obviously in the end has turned into nothing, but I've got to be honest, I kind of understood it. You know, he's a guy who knows the Premier League, a lot of experience at international level, Marseille as captain as well. Now, obviously, in the end, that hasn't happened because, well, I mean, it wants to be perceived as he's turned us down or rejected or what have you. I think what's actually happened is Newcastle have come to a decision that they're not going to make him one of the highest earners at the club and give him maybe the contract that he wants. So in the end, it's probably a sensible decision from both parties not to move forward with that, rather than Newcastle being rejected and made to look like idiots, I guess. But I think that it's clear he wants some experience in the squad, which I think is fair enough. I think we saw on Saturday that he made Malik Chow the captain, because I think Chow's probably one of the players who's definitely going to play every game. So I feel like he wants his captain to be on the pitch rather than maybe a club captain, because Dan Burn makes sense to be the club captain, I suppose. But I think it feels like he might make the captain someone who he's going to play every single game. So Chow stepped in on Saturday, and I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe gets the role full time.
There's been talk of João Paulinho as well, who's become a bit of a
fit the bill.
Tottenham hero. Was brilliant for us at the tail end of last season with his goals and his performances. Effectively kept Spurs up. I mean, how would you feel about that? I think that feels like a good fit. I mean, you're not the only game in town. I know Villa are keen, but I'm sure he'd go down well. Anybody who tackles like that in a full St James's Park will become a bit of a hero quickly, I think.
You are right there, Paul. You're absolutely all right. I think Paulinho's very limited in certain parts of his game, but in terms of like breaking up play, he is brilliant at it. And you know what? For Spurs, he scored a lot of important goals, didn't he? To be fair to him, and that's not his game, but he did get in the box. He did get goals. Now I think with Paulinho, I can see him going to Villa. To be honest, I feel like that one feels like it's a bit more advanced and a bit further down the line. And I think with Newcastle is that obviously with Jaisler, I am positive. I do believe that this is a new era and it's a chance to be successful. And I'm not like really fearful going into the season, but that is based on probably about 4 more players coming in, because realistically, when you look at certain areas of the squad, I mean, at right back we have Tino Livramento, but he's not fit. So you need a right back, absolutely. I think you need another midfielder. You probably need another right winger, because I don't think Jacob Murphy's really at the level that he once was. And then, of course, there's a lot of pressure being put on the players from last season to deliver. So can Alanga get better? Can Visser get better? Can Waldemar get better? Or can we find a way to actually play Waldemar properly? That would be interesting to see what happens there. Visser looked really good on Saturday. He was a player I've given a lot of criticism to, but he looked really sharp. He looked fit. He looked hungry. He definitely clearly was representing the number 9 shirt properly, which is exactly what I want to see. I know it's only pre-season, but it's better than what I've seen from him so far.
I saw a lot of him at Brentford. He's a very good player, and
he looked good in the World Cup. Yeah,
he did look good in the World Cup.
He had a very unfortunate start with Newcastle. He came there and he was injured, and he never had pre-season. He never got going.
I think he'll do well.
I think
for
he'll
you
do better
next
for you
season.
this year.
I hope he does.
He talked about Waldemar, Jaisler. He said, "I saw he had a difficult period, and from the first day we talked a lot. He should leave the past behind, and we should only look forward and look to improve." He also talked about his chant. There's a song for him already. I've not heard it, Jack. Maybe you can fill us in. He said, "I have my spies following social media, so they gave me a hint that there was a special song already created. My first feeling when I entered the pitch with my assistant coaches, we were looking at each other, was a big smile and goosebumps." So what tune have they appropriated for him?
So it's Yes Sir, I Can Boogie. It's Jaisler, I Can Boogie.
Jaisler, I Can Boogie.
That is my fantasy team name as well. I've already.
Really?
So, yeah. Look, I think it's a great song. I think it's good that he's fully embracing what it's going to be like. And look, St James's Park anyway next week is going to be a bear pit anyway, because one, it's the Kevin Keegan tribute game. It's Newcastle v Liverpool, which obviously has a lot of connotations attached to it. Anyway, Alexander Isak is back on Tyneside.
Oh, yeah.
It's Iraola's first game as Liverpool manager, but it's a new gaffer in the dugout who promises to play intense, exciting, vertical football, which is exactly what Eddie Howe started off doing, and by the end it wasn't that. So I'm really looking forward to that opening game against Liverpool. And look, I'm not expecting to win. I just want to leave with, if we get a draw or just something where you can come away from the game thinking, right, there's something to build on there. There was plenty of positives to take going forward into the season. It doesn't have to be a doom and gloom year, which is obviously what a lot of people are predicting, including you, Andy.
Good time to,
fair enough.
Yeah, Andy.
No, I do, but it's a good time to play Liverpool, and
yes,
they can get off to a good start. You know, don't take any notice of my predictions. Who would have predicted Sunderland would have the season they had? You know,
yeah. Well, I mean, certainly not Jack.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Nice one, Jack. Thanks very much.
See you later, lads. Have a good afternoon.
Jack Cunningham there from Inside the Two Now talkSPORT podcast. Classy from Jaisler as well. He was asked about Kevin Keegan, and he said, "I knew how much impact he had at the club and how much of a legend he is. There will be a special occasion against Liverpool, and there will be some special things planned, which will be special for sure. We have some special things planned, and I'm aware of his legacy." So And that
should be a
like,
great
like
occasion.
It should be absolutely a proper celebration of what he brought to both clubs. We're going to talk transfers next with Ben Jacobs, our senior football correspondent. We are here with Tool Station. Only got time for one stop. First stop, Tool Station.
I know Salah didn't play as much last season, but to not have Mo Salah, you know, your talisman, like, who's going to take that now? Isak should, but he's right to call it there, Egan. His injury record is horrendous. If he gets injured again, touch what he doesn't, who's the striker? Gakpo, false nine?
Apparently they're in for Bacola. I like him. I think he's top player.
Do you think he's a £130 million player?
Well, if Elliot Anderson's 10, how much they paid for it?
110.
Morgan Rogers, your mate, is gone to
117.
117 million.
No,
like Bacola,
crazy, isn't it?
of course, PSG are going to say, well, he's 130 million. He won the Champions League, played in the World Cup.
But if you're Liverpool, is that exactly what you need off that left hand side?
Probably not. They need a replacement for Salah.
They need goals.
Yeah, they need goals.
Do you know what I mean? Barcola is, I agree. I love watching him. I feel like if I was a right back, I wouldn't sleep the night before playing against him. He's rapid. He's 6'2", wherever he is, long stride, quick, but he's not a finisher. The amount of times I've watched him and he's gone through one goal and he'll make the wrong pass and finishes are a bit wild and doesn't finish chances he should do. Liverpool need to be bringing in a winger who's going to get goals, because you can't rely on Isak. You can't. You should be able to. Wirtz isn't a goal scorer. You spent over 100 million for Wirtz, and he's not a goal scorer, mate.
It feels like it's a bit of a mess.
McAllister wasn't good last season. How's he going to come back after the World Cup? Zoboszlai is obviously a fantastic player. Gravenberch needed some help last season in that number 6 as well.
I just can't believe that Liverpool, we're saying, Champions League. Yeah, we'd take Champions League.
I agree. Their fans won't like it.
We end today talking transfers, and one that kind of broke earlier on today via our next guest, I think did really come out of left field. Miles Lewis-Skelly played in midfield in the Champions League final, as we all know. Is adaptable, really good play. He felt like the future of Arsenal, it seems, is being offered around, whether that's by the club or I don't know. Let's find out. Ben Jacobs joins us. Hello, Ben.
Good afternoon.
So is this the club prepared to let him go? Is this an agent trying to get a better deal for him at Arsenal? What's the story here?
Well, I don't think there's a better deal because he's one of the best paid young players at Arsenal. And in addition to that, we mustn't forget that he only signed a deal last year. My understanding is it's a bit of both here. So the player side before the new contract were looking at other options, which is normal, maybe for leverage, even though when he signed, he really only wanted Arsenal. And then from Arsenal's perspective, it's about how many minutes is he going to get in midfield with Bruno Guimaraes arriving? Could they get good money for him? And again, back at left back, what's the pathway? And although he's a top talent, there would be an appetite at the right number, and I stress the right number, and it would obviously be great business for Arsenal to at least engage. So this is not transfer listed, this is not even definite yet, and that's why Arsenal are quite calm about the situation. But for the right number and the right club, and if the player's got an appetite, not unsellable. And
pure
this
profit.
is where offered exactly to Chelsea and also to Manchester United. And it's interesting because Chelsea are about to formalise a move for Pep Javaria from Rayo Vallecano on the left, and Marco Palestra can play on the right or the left. And then you look in that central midfield, and if Enzo Fernandez stays, Chelsea are very well stocked, and Jordan Henderson has also arrived. But if we go back to last summer, Chelsea were interested. Then you look at Manchester United. They'd love Lewis Hall on the left. They want another central midfielder, even though they've signed Andre Santos and Yuri Tielemans. And the beauty of Miles Lewis-Skelly is he can play in both positions. So let's see how this story develops, because when a player is offered through whatever medium, it's very different to a club going, we'll bid or we will move. They can sometimes be caught a little bit by surprise, as I'm sure some Arsenal fans are. So now those clubs will have to assess, but this is a story to keep an eye on between now and the end of the window.
What sort of, you said for the right price, what would be your expectation of what Arsenal would be looking to get for Miles Lewis-Skelly?
Yeah, I've seen some reports that say somewhere between 40 and 50 million pounds, and my information is that would be a great deal for a prospective buyer. We're in an inflated market. Newcastle United don't want to sell Lewis Hall, and they certainly value him above 60 million pounds. And you could argue for someone like Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's young and well contracted, that would be a kind of gauge. But it will all depend on Arsenal and how much of this is a desire to bring in money post Bruno Guimaraes, and if the player wants to move, there might be a more bargain deal there, which is obviously why some of these lower numbers have been bandied around. I've got to be honest, when I speak to Arsenal sources, they don't put a number on it at the moment, because if they are prepared to sell, they'll likely want to cast the net wide and create a lot of interest and even potentially a bidding war to maximise a potential exit, but we're not there yet. So Arsenal are perfectly fine if Miles Lewis-Skelly stays. As you said in the build-up to this interview, he played in the Champions League final alongside Declan Rice. He's versatile, he's young, he's Arsenal through and through, but it would reflect well on the books. And again, I don't think Arsenal will be saying he's available at this number. I think it's an invite to see if anyone comes to the table, and the valuation will come a bit later.
Okay.
Chelsea won't do anything unless they sell Enzo Fernandez. I don't see them buying anybody else, actually.
Really?
No, they've got about 16 players they've got to get off the books.
So they're looking at David Raum, the German, the Leipzig player, left back, Manchester United. So this could be a bit of a spanner in the works, because would you necessarily buy him and Lewis-Skelly?
Well, I think with Miles Lewis-Skelly, there would have to be a discussion as to whether you bring him in as a midfielder or a left-back or a bit of both. With Ram, I think one of several options, to be honest. Manchester United would love Lewis Hall, and everyone else is kind of just an internal conversation at this stage. So nothing to get excited about yet with any individual name, and that will obviously include Miles Lewis-Skelly until the point where Manchester United decide if they want to move. That could happen in a matter of hours or days, but as of now, it's very much an internal conversation at Manchester United, which extends to, will Marcus Rashford stay? Direction of travel at the moment. Does that mean Patrick Dorgu himself gets a more defensive-minded role, so they've got another body in that potential position? There's big faith in Diego Leon, and Luke Shaw is still at the football club as well. So I wouldn't say spanner in the works. I would say a welcome headache for Manchester United to have as they assess what direction they want to go. And my feeling is that there's a heavier priority now on finding a left-back or a fullback, but still that desire, if the right opportunity presents itself, to bring in another midfielder. And of course, number 9 is under consideration as well.
We've got less than a minute, but just a quick one on Tijani Reinders at
That's
City.
an interesting one, isn't it?
There could be a bit of churn at the club. You kind of sense that. There could be some players in and out. So, Forest, apparently, you hear, Ben.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest, and they'd looked at Lucas Bergvall. That's still active, by the way. Newcastle for Bergvall have shown an interest as well. And Forest are naturally looking to strengthen in their midfield following the departure of Elliot Anderson, and they'll be busy between now and the end of the window. And if both Reinders and Rodri leave, then my expectation is City will go for Ayub Boadi advanced talks and still try and add a second midfielder as well.
Excellent, Ben. As always, we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Ben Jacobs there, senior football correspondent. There'll be more transfer chat at 7, a whole 3 hours to luxuriate in that with our own Ben Fletcher and Jacob Hawley, comedian and Arsenal fan, interested to get his take on that Arsenal story. I'm sure there'll be plenty of transfer chat, of course, in Drive. That's coming up next with Jamie O'Hara and Rory Jennings. Thanks for your company. We will catch up with you soon.
I've been watching Chelsea pre-season. I'm making a statement now. There is no reason why Chelsea cannot win this title. In fact, I'm going to say it. Chelsea win the title.
Oh!
Chelsea win the title. There is something about Chelsea. There is something about what we have got a cheat code. I'm not proud to say this, but we can go and win the title for a number of reasons. One, have you seen our front three? João Pedro, Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer's at a rest. He's been absolutely flogged. João Pedro's had a rest. Our midfield, the recruitment at the back, looks like almost certainly we're going to be playing a 3 at the back with someone called Xabi Alonso that knows how to win a title. 1 game a week. We saw how beneficial that can be when Conte took over Chelsea. Went to 3 at the back. Chelsea win the title. History is going to repeat itself. No, I never go out on a limb and talk like this about Chelsea. I said Arsenal win the title for the last 3 seasons, and eventually they did. I'm going Chelsea. You Gooners, you should be fearful of Chelsea. Yes, you're favourites, and I get it. And you've got an unbelievable team, and you've proven why you're the title holders because you deserve it. But I've got to tell you, there's a cheat code, and that cheat code is Chelsea playing 1 game a week, and we have a manager in Xabi Alonso who knows how to win a title. There are only 2 managers that can win this title that have won a title in the past, and that's Xabi Alonso and Mikel Arteta. Liverpool, new manager. Andoni Iraola doesn't know how to win a title. Spurs, De Zerbi. What's De Zerbi won? What's he won? Where's the noise?
He's annoyed. There we go. Here we go.
There you go. Carrick.